Hello, apparently I'm live. I will. All right, here's the thing. So I think I'm live, and the people on the comments will confirm this. But it's really weird because I feel like I should be responding to someone instead of just talking to myself because I know there's now people there's people where behind this computer, and I did not. Do I wait? Does that sound garbled? Does it really? I'm using these. Does it sound garbled? Are you picking on me? Possibly. Oh, you're the worst. All right, I have absolutely nothing planned. So this is just going to be a stream of me sitting here interacting with Board Game Co. telling me that my audio sounds garbled, which is about the worst thing that you can say to someone that just potentially went live. I am on the road at a friend's house in a friend's studio, and I decided because I didn't have content for today, and I'm trying to downgrade my production quality enough that I can produce content as often as possible. Well, not as often as possible, so I can keep up with Board Game Co. because he's pacing me in a ridiculous fashion. I thought we'd try out a live stream. Now, any of you watching, a lot of you are already Patreon members, but anyone who's watching, I'm probably going to leave this up public for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, however long until I find the time to make this a Patreon exclusive video. So far, the policy with all of our live streams are I hang out, I talk with people, answer some questions, do a live Q&A, and then at a certain point we'll make them Patreon exclusive. We'll make them private just so that the whatever mess this is, only the people that pay $1 get to experience this forever, which is probably the best argument that I've ever given to not being a Patreon member. So there's that. That being said, this is supposed to be a Q&A, and that's all I have genuinely planned. So I'm going to start reading, and if you're watching, I'm hopefully going to get to your comment sooner or later. And I need to remember to look here instead of here, because I'm here and I'm talking to myself, but you're there. So let's see here. And we're back. Board Game Co. We are. Thank you for saving the day. YouTube's algorithm to get live streams up and running, very odd. Natnell, I have a very, very important question that is not a question, but it is an important statement, and it has a lot of exclamation marks. Corey, hey, and hi, Nat. I mean, you said a gentle hi to me. Let's see. Board Game Co. picked on me about being garbled, admitted publicly that he is a troll. That's good to have that. Could someone screen cap that for me just so we have it? Nat says it's alive. Michael says, sup, Jesse. Corey says, hello. Successful Geek says, when are we going to play Small World? Well, Successful Geek, I drive back to Florida tonight to be a photographer. And so if you want to come over Sunday, I'll be in Orlando, and we could play Small World then. So there's your answer. Sunday, we play Small World on the beach. Benjamin, Quack Alert. Absolutely. It's my, the amount of quacks that we can spread places, I absolutely love it. Corey, it's not that bad. Well, all right, that's not reassuring. That means it's not that great either. Well, room to improve. First ever live stream, not on a phone, and so we'll get better and better as we go. Board Game Co., where are you? Even on the road, your stuff looks much better than mine. Well, like I said, I am currently at my friend's house in Washington, D.C. I've been editing all day. I went into an office yesterday to do a very masked up photo shoot. I was doing headshots for their office staff because they literally haven't had them for the entire year. And so we got those done, and then I'm heading down to Florida. Why are you not sleeping right now? Well, Corey, I'm not sleeping right now because I genuinely like to spend time with you. That sounded sarcastic. It wasn't. It's because I'm busy, because I have a lot of stuff to do, and sleep is like the last thing that in the order or the hierarchy of things that should be done, sleep is there, but only when your brain and body force it upon you. Quackling, quack lying, quack something. I don't know. Are you coming up with a term? It keeps skipping down. All right. Brides, junk and garbage removal service. Awesome. I just found you. How do you pick the games that you play? Two ways. I pick the games that I play based off of my own personal tastes. We get a lot of emails. I do a lot of digging. We read a lot of rule books, especially as a channel that's doing board game media content. And so we spend a lot of time looking for beautiful art, beautiful flavor text, and games that seem compelling or interesting. And then also, of course, if there's a publisher like Leader Games or Chip Theory that are putting out something, we kind of know what their past games are like, those are going to be instant plays for us when it comes to new titles coming out. The litmus test for me, the thing that'll either accept or reject or make me spend an extra 15 minutes digging into a project is, of course, no spoiler here, is going to be the artwork and the flavor text. That's the first thing I read when a new publisher sends me a request to cover their title. And if those two things don't do it for me, the odds are it might not be the right project for us to work on. And then I have Jan read the mechanics, and if Jan likes the mechanics, then that'll trump everything. Solid Quack coming from Cameron. Theologious Mage, live Shelfie stream. Look at all the space for new games. Yeah, my friend likes cameras. This is his. He does Lowell Productions. He does commercial videography work. That's how we're connected. We do some commercial stuff together. Doesn't like board games. I mean, not against them. He also doesn't like reading or books. So, there's a give and take there. Corey, how can I get a beanie as cool as that one? You can either have your grandmother or your girlfriend custom make it for you. That's the only, my standard for beanies are made by grandmothers. That's if we ever sell beanies, that's going to be the core thing. We're going to say made by grandmothers, period. Genuinely, this one is handmade by my ex-girlfriend while we were spending the holidays at my grandmother's house, who was teaching us how to make beanies. Mine did not turn out as nice. What book are you reading right now? Right now, I am still working through the book. I'm listening to the audiobook of Good to Great. It is a book all about how companies and corporations outdid the trajectory that the other people in their industry were doing, right? What they deployed when it came to the principles of business, finance, community building, that allowed them to build beyond where their expectations should have been. I find it really interesting. I've been digging into it as I've been on this road trip. Outside of that, I don't know what's lined up for me next. I was listening to the Bobaverse. That's a fiction series about a AI computer person that gets downloaded into a spaceship named Bob, self-replicates himself and slowly starts colonizing all of the galaxies after human civilization has been wiped out. And you start getting like this split personalities of like Bob slowly starts shifting as the evolutionary process proceeds. It's really good. It's really interesting. Albert, I need my phone to not be vibrating because I'm going to start looking at that and get very confused that I'm supposed to be looking at this. What are some of your favorite story-driven games? Have you had a chance to play Etherfields yet? Favorite story-driven games? I mean, Kingdom Death, Spire's End. What else are my favorite story-driven games? Forgotten Waters. I'm real bad at remembering things directly off the top of my head. I love RPG systems, so I love D&D. I'm super excited to dig into like Mouse Guard and Humblewood. Anything that has like small forest creatures, brilliant. I mean, that's going to be a selling point for me at least. Have I had a chance to play Etherfields? I've had a chance to play the tutorial of Etherfields. Jan currently has it at his house. I actually need to pick it up from him and bring it back to Kentucky. So far, the tutorial was interesting, but it didn't pull me in yet. I'm excited to get into the actual chapters because I think it has a slow build where it's spending the majority of its time teaching you how to play the game in that first 60 minutes or so. And then you start revealing and awaking and solving kind of the trap room puzzles that it's become so popular for. So I'm excited to continue diving in. It definitely has me intrigued, but the prologue I don't think is where I would start people on the game as far as my first impressions go. Let's see here. I have, it skipped down again. There we are. This is, I wonder if there's a better way for me to track all the questions coming in. I have a Aua Quackalope, which solid Aua. Josha, are we doing a Q&A? I'm just going to prep some genuine questions. Aren't pickup lines at all. Good. I'm looking forward to them. Those genuine questions, those. John DeCampos, would you ever consider doing a review via TTS? I don't know that TTS is a good enough system for me to fully review a game. Cover, do gameplay, do a preview. Yes, absolutely. We're already doing that. It is sort of the state of things right now. If I did a review on TTS, I would paint the caveat that it was on TTS that I was doing the review in. Is that where you want most people to spend time playing your game versus like actually a physical copy? I would do a preview. I want to review the actual product. I just think as far as consumer goes, and what I would both expect from my content and expect from a consumer position. I think that's where my stance is. Let's see. Would I play and give opinions and feedback? Yeah. Natnell, my question is, how are you so lovely and wonderful and prolific? Well, the secret is moving forward with confidence. I am none of those things. I just trick you into thinking I am because I approach the world from a position of sheer confidence. Uh, uh, and sarcasm. Board Game Co. I screen capped it. You're good. I'll report that anytime. Thank you, friend. As long as you're willing to self-identify as a troll, I'm willing to call you one. Mario, with that being said, your channel was the best new thing I found this year. Thank you for everything, Jesse. I am sorry that I mean, granted, 2020, not a lot to compete with, but so I'm thrilled that you found us and that it has been a positive thing for you. I am sorry that we are the best new thing you found. It is both wonderful and also will improve. Will improve as this live stream is demonstrating. Let's see. You visiting any gamers in Florida? At the moment, I'm not. At the moment, I'm just going down for a contract shoot. The world started opening up just enough for me to be able to like put a mask on and show up and be a photographer. And so when that opportunity approaches, I've been doing it. Michael, my first Quack stream. Welcome. Kibo, hello from Spain. How are you? I am better than I deserve. I think that's my statement. I stole that from Dave Ramsey, but I've been watching a lot of Dave Ramsey, so I don't mind stealing it. Dan Roberts, what is that light behind you? I do feel a little like I'm being interrogated. So I moved in front of it. That's supposed to be a hair light, but I didn't have my camera quite positioned right. So in a studio space like this, you actually wouldn't see the pipe or the ceiling or anything, because what Trey does is he sets up a camera that angles in, right? So you see the shelf, you see the lights, and then this hair light kind of outlines and silhouettes your head. That's what it's supposed to be doing. But because I'm on a computer camera and not zoomed in quite right, it's instead interrogating you. And I really wish I could like pop people right across from me so I could be like, tell me your secrets or your board games, any of those things. Let's see. So many messages. Natnell, here's a real question. What's a great game you played recently and why was it great? What's a great game I played? Mission. I'm completely. I'm gonna pull it up because it deserves Mission Catastrophe. I think it deserves to be mentioned because it really was genuinely a blast to play. And I have it backed. And yes, Mission Catastrophe. I should just speak with more confidence. Mission Catastrophe was a fantastic game that is currently on Kickstarter. We did a preview for it. Why was it great? Because it was a tight little semi-cooperative, entirely betrayal-based game that presented a simple and clean enough puzzle that I had an amazing time playing it and never overstayed its welcome. I don't love those semi-cooperative, semi-competition games. And this one really stood out to me because it was just a joy and ridiculous. And if you don't believe me, go watch our gameplay because it was fun. You can see if it was right for you. Michael, I have a question. Do you have a board game of your shelf that you will never get rid of? Yes, I do. I bet you can get, Kingdom Death. Kingdom Death I'll never get rid of. And then as we're starting to get more and more games with quacks and ducks and things like that in them, I really do have a dream of one day having a shelf with like 50 Quackalopes in it, like 50 games each with Quackalopes in them. And so am I ever getting rid of those? No, just period. More interesting answer than things with me or the only game that I have aggressively idolized. Games that I know for a fact I will not get rid of. I have a lot. But I don't hold on to things. I don't mind getting rid of things. I don't mind things moving and coming and going. Things that pop into my head are games that I've sought out that are harder to get, like Dogs of War by Simon or Russian Railroads. But to be honest, like if push came to shove and something tragic happened and I lost my entire board game collection, I'm okay finding new things and rebuilding and growing and playing other people's games. I am a collector, but I don't need them all, I suppose. Uh, Richard Durr, you're not getting chased by other trail hikers. Yup, not getting chased by other trail hikers. I don't know what that's in reference to. I might have missed something along the way. That being said, I wish I was out hiking. That'd be nice. Uh, Kasurban. Oh, well, yes, I was on a mountain when I did a live stream. If you missed that live stream, I'd like to do more of those. It was a little messy, but it was fun, and I liked being on a mountain. Screenshot sent. Thank you. Win. Sleep is for the weak. Not for the weak, for the desperate, which is me after about 48 hours. Board Game Co. When do we get to see the next right for you, wrong for you? So Board Game Co., good friend of mine, has been pushing me to do the content that you all like for some reason. I don't know why we should invest time and energy into doing content that the fans actually watch and appreciate, but maybe we should. We are working on, there's two series that are our review series that I really, really think we should be doing a ton more content on, but it is hard with my schedule and the amount of cyclical nature of games and the fact that like my closest collaborators are pretty far away from me at the moment. And so our confirmation bias, which is going to be coming out this next Tuesday or next Wednesday. Yeah, this next Wednesday with Alex, we're doing a combination one that'll be fun. And then right for you, wrong for you. I take those formats so seriously that it's really hard for me to produce them. I am currently working. One of the goals of my life right now, of the next 6 months or so, is to become as organized as I can so that I can be more productive, get more done, do more for you, the community, right? And so in that process, figuring out what steps I need to take personally, whether it is playing, prepping, writing, scripting, doing research, whatever I need to do to start preparing more and more thoroughly vetted review content is one of the puzzles I'm solving. Because the dance of commercial work, videos here for Kickstarter, conversational videos, live stream, social media for a single content creator, as you well know, Alex, it is a lot to manage. And as you often say, you feel bad for me. Blake, right now I have Root, Vast, and Fort. Since I am a pretty new gamer and I love them, what other games would you suggest? If you were loving Root, Vast, and Fort, well, if you like Fort, I'd tell you to check out Dale of Merchants. It's going to be another one of my favorite deck building games ever. We have some content on it, and you can get it comes in a little small box just like Fort as well, so you could experience what it's like without digging into it. Root and Vast. I mean, I mean, uh, I'm the next stage from there, I think, is just heavy 4X or cube based war games, right? Coin games, I think is the terminology. I don't really know what those are either. I've just continued to play Root. Uh, there's so many really good games out there. Root and Vast, interesting asymmetric player powers and properties. What has that I think you would enjoy? I don't know. Board Game Co is going to be much better at the board game stuff than I am. Let's see here. Benjamin Heel. Very random question slash comparison. I have a budget for one board game right now, and I want two. Veiled Fate or Uprising Curse of the Last Emperor. Which one should I get? Well, that really depends. It really depends on the style of game. So Uprising is going to be it's going to be this head-to-head squabble for both securing your own position on the board versus like helping out your allies and trying to keep the hordes from unveiling and covering all of you up. Like it feels very much like a cooperative game and a solo game, like both of those puzzles playing together. And it's good in that sense, but it is a heavy game to play. It's harder to get to the table. Veiled Fate is going to be a high price tag for a social strategic game or a strategic deduction game, which is a genre that has a lot of titles that are really good, but not a lot that are produced the same way that they're doing this one. And so if your friends like to sit around the table and squabble for the best position, that one might be the best. Here's the thing. Only one of them has Quackalope official flavor text coming, which is Veiled Fate. But the reality is I'm going to go off your game group. If you're going to be playing solo and you like a hard puzzle, or if you're going to be playing with friends who prefer a cooperative experience, Uprising is going to be your bid. If you want something that is going to be a little bit more head-to-head, but needs a little bit of a higher player count to operate at the best it can be, I think then Veiled Fate is going to be where you're going to put your money. Successful Geek. When are you getting the new Root Expect delivered for footage? That way I can steal it off your porch. Well, if I knew that, I would not tell you because I would probably not get one then. Uh, Josha, what is the most board gamey board game? Board gamey board game. The game that is the most board gamey of the board games. Well, I mean, that determines like what is a board game, right? I'm immediately thinking of train games or heavy Euro games, like some of the stuff that Vitella Serta puts out, or train games like Railroads of the World, right? Like those are, or I could go on the other side of it and be like the GMC tactics games, like you're taking literally historical war games that people played when real people were out battling, and you're just putting that on the table in front of you. I think some of those would probably be the most board gamey, or I could go with like a dumb answer and be like the game of life, because it is both a board game and everyone's currently playing it. Price, have you ever played Core Space? And if so, what's your thoughts? I have not, and I am not sure what my thoughts are or would be if I had. So I cannot answer the second part of your question. Hello from Mexico. Hi, Mexico. Rod, nice to have you here. Excited to have some people from all over the world. Manatsu, about to venture into Jaws of the Lion campaign solo. Quack for controlling 4 characters. If I was doing a solo gameplay, I would only operate with 2 characters, but that is also because I don't typically do solo gameplays that are heavily complex. Probably the hardest that I've done has been Kingdom Death, and I use an app to help track character stats and mechanics and stuff along the way. With the amount of rules I tend to get wrong, it is 4 characters would mean I'm perpetually cheating. If you can do it and you have fun doing it, sure, why not? I mean, shoot, the answer that I'm always going to divert to is do what's fun. That's the best. It's the best method. Successful Geek. Why is Everdell better than Wingspan? All right, so we're putting out we've been having a fight in our podcast between Everdell and Wingspan, and we're working on a video where Alex and I go head to head debating why Everdell is better, and or, as my opinion would hold, why Wingspan is in fact better than Everdell. Coming to the top of my head, why Everdell might be better than Wingspan. I mean, production quality is going to be top of the charts for both of them, but I'd say Everdell probably has the bar on that just slightly. When we're talking about the actual gameplay, I think Everdell has more player interaction, just slightly, not a ton, but I think that, choosing worker placement zones and drafting up and sailing pirate ships into your opponent's territory, I think Everdell squeezes it out there. But that does increase with expansions. And my argument has always been base game Wingspan, base game Everdell. I'm keeping Wingspan over Everdell every day of the week. But when you start messing with expansions, while I like 96 brand new bird cards, I think what Everdell introduces through the expansion content, the way that you can grow the game, it probably positions itself slightly better than Wingspan does. So there's my answer. Alex has already filmed his video. I probably didn't give him anything new, but just in case I did, doesn't matter. Josha, when can I pop over the ocean to play Oath with you? We are hoping to have a prototype copy of Oath come December. Quackalope should have one, and we're going to be doing official content with Leader Games. And so then come on over. Dan, scale of 1 to 10, excitement level for Burn Cycle. Probably a 4. I don't think I'm backing Burn Cycle. It's not that it doesn't look interesting, and it's not that I don't really like what Chip Theory Games typically does. I don't understand it still, honestly. I've watched some gameplays. I did probably like an hour of research, looking through what they were saying on their page. The artwork's beautiful. The production's going to be incredible. There's people that I know who are genuinely excited for it. But nothing so far has struck me as like, that's why I need this game. I don't have that answer yet. And right now, when it comes to Kickstarters and things that I'm adding into my personal collection, that's usually the question that I'm asking, especially if I'm the person that's going to be buying it or covering it. Like if we're being sent games and stuff, would I like to try Burn Cycle? If Chip Theory Games offered to send us a copy for review, would I dip into it? Absolutely, and I'd be super excited to do so. I trust them when it comes to game development. I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure where my stance is at the moment. Uh, Leisure. Which do you think will wind up being a better game, gameplay wise and miniature wise, Primal or Monster Hunter World? I think Jan's really excited for Monster Hunter World. I'm always nervous when IPs. I think Primal's going to be better. And that's just gut instinct. I haven't dug into them much. I'm nervous around Monster Hunter. I know Jan's excited for it. I just think I just haven't loved production on the other Monster Hunter properties as much, and so I'm probably biased against it to a degree. Board Game Co. Pro tip: keep a separate eye on the most recent comment. If you're always behind on the feed, you won't know if something goes wrong. I say this for no reason whatsoever. It's because your whole thing went silent for an extended period of time. I'm just going to move forward aggressively and hope that nothing's going wrong. I am being called though, and I don't know who or what that's about. Uh, Based on your recent comments, oh, it skipped down. It skipped down. People are still asking questions, and now I have to scroll back up to find where things are. Oh wow, there's a lot of comments. Okay, it skipped the whole way down to the bottom because my computer keeps going off. I legitimately, here we are. Oh no, I'm still scrolling up. There we are. Friends, we're gonna be here for a while. How many people are even watching? 65? That's pretty good. 17 thumbs up though. Y'all that are watching, you need to get on that thumbs up game. Raymond, based on your recent comments about SUDS, Shut Up and Sit Down, and their recommendations, I think you should have a recorded debate with Quinns. I would love to. I'm still a massive fan. I will be starstruck whenever I re-meet Shut Up and Sit Down. The first time I ever met them, I thoroughly embarrassed myself. And so the next time I'll continue and plan to do the same. I absolutely adore Shut Up and Sit Down, even if most, if not the vast majority of or all of their opinions are wrong. Let's see here. A-Rod, today I received Pandemic Fall of Rome. It's my first pandemic game. I hope it's fun. I've heard good things about it, especially if you like the historical theming as opposed to the more pandemic-y theming. Successful Geek, why should Board Game Co. back Dark Ventures? Because I'm putting out a video tomorrow on Dark Ventures, and it is just a brilliant game. Board Game Co. should back Dark Ventures because he likes games that provide an interesting puzzle to solve that is constantly shifting based on the players that are around the table. It is easy to get to the table, and it is also one of the best strategic tactics games that I've played in a long time. And it doesn't do the whole piles of minis and stuff. I mean, it just is exactly what it is. It is a love letter from a game designer who just wanted to make something. So that's why. Board Game Co. I'll back it if you do, Successful Geek. I think Successful Geek is backing it, but I'm not entirely sure. Josha, is Etherfield's worth the existential dread caused by self-inflicted poverty? Is anything worth the existential dread caused by self-inflicted poverty? I would say that you should be responsible with your own personal budget. Really, I mean, genuinely, if I want to like step away from the jokes and everything for a moment, I don't think people should be going into debt to buy board games, no matter how incredible the potential board game will be. Managing your own finances and deciding where you're going to spend your money is always the things you have to do based on your own household and what you need to do. But like I said, I've been listening to way too much Dave Ramsey as I've been sorting out my own financial matters with the chaos of this year. And yeah, I don't think extra debt is ever worth it. So find a way to supplement your income to a point where you can enjoy the hobby or have a game group that is going to be collectively buying, the titles instead of you getting everything, or do a ton of research so that you can be very purposeful with the dollars that you're spending. So that's my stance on it. Let's see here. Also, next time you're in DC/MD, hit me up. I just get the DMC bloody place in, and I'd love to play a game with y'all also. How do you feel about house rules? I feel fine about house rules. As long as I've played the core game once, like I want to understand the core game and understand why the house rules work. But like if I'm walking into your game environment and you say, hey, this is how we always play it, sure, let's do it. Let's give it a swing. Jan is still based in Washington, D.C., so reach out to us. Jan might want to hang out and play some games. A lot of my old friends are still up here. A lot of my core game group, you're welcome to whatever extent they're seeing people, you're welcome to hang out with them without me. And then when I'm back up, I'd love to get together. Let's see here. Dan, Alex, your audio snafu was epic. By the way, thoroughly enjoyed it. I agree. His audio snafu was epic. Board Game Co. Thanks. Nothing quite like 6 minutes of dead air. Well, it is better than 6 minutes of Quackalope talking or pattering on. So effective. Natnell, this is a good and important question. I myself am currently dealing with responding to the threat of existential debt. That's my answer. Win fan, have you gone back to the Grizzled? How is it holding up after a year? I haven't honestly played it this year. I played it last year. I enjoyed it the last time I played it. I still own the Armistice Edition. I have not dipped back into it. I remember it being a very compelling and thematic experience when I first did it. And it was one of the very first games we covered on the channel. So maybe it's about time to start digging into some of those originals, right? I love Bobaverse. Bobaverse is brilliant and beautiful. Josh, let's see here. Preach, yes, preach. Fair Dave. Hi, everyone. Hi, Fair Dave. Like 17 minutes after you left a comment. Successful Geek. You know, the other bad thing about me doing a live stream and answering questions is like, I'm getting perpetually farther behind the Q&A section of this. And I do things like this where I talk for an extended period of time without reading a single question, which gets me even farther behind. Paul J. I just got, this is way more nerve-wracking than just doing videos at home. Paul J. I just got a copy of Spire's End. I reached out to the creator and he sold me some of the extra copies he had. I cannot wait to play it. It's so cool that he was so easy to get in contact with. Yes, and I love Spire's End, and I really, really love Greg Favreau behind it. I think he's an excellent game designer. And I'm super excited to see what he has in the pipeline for us next. And just a genuine good guy. He just invests in the community, and I always respect that. Fair Dave, Board Game Co. I backed Etherfields because of your video. Well, good for Board Game Co. Successful Geek, backed. There we go. All right, we've successfully backed Dark Ventures. I have a video coming out tomorrow if you want to hold on for that, but like it's a good one. Flava Text. What is the game that is the biggest surprise that you ended up loving despite thinking you would absolutely hate it? Cthulhu Death May Die. Did not think it was going to be a game for me. I do not like that genre of game. By golly, that one was good. That one was simple, fun, clean story out the wazoo. I don't even like Cthulhu stuff. And Death May Die just worked. It just worked really well. I had a great time playing it. Birds. Junk and garage removal services. If you hear footsteps running above me, there is a 2-year-old who I just did family photos of sprinting throughout the house. So he also knows me by Quack or Quackalope or, Jesse. It is pronounced bird. Well, how many times did you play? I'm glad I got your name right before reading the comment that told me how to pronounce your name. How many times did you play a game before you film it? Really depends on the game. Some games, we've done a preview of it because we got it that week. I sat down with my game group because they only come once a week to do filming with me. We sat down, we played it once, and then we play it on camera. Other times we played a game, 10, 15, 20, 2, 3. It really just shifts and adjusts depending on the game. I always try to read the rule book and run the game solo or double-fisted if I can. And then I'll run it with a game group. And then if possible, we'll play it a few times before filming it. But I'd say more often than not, the gameplay that you're seeing is one of, if not the first official gameplay we've done outside of that practice session. Gabe, hi Jesse, salutations from Quebec up north. Thank you for doing this Q&A. Well, don't thank me yet. You're probably not, I mean, who even knows if you're still watching? This comment was like 15 minutes ago. Very cool. Has someone asked you already what's your favorite color? We'd like to know. Keep up the great work. I was a purple fan. Okay. When I was a baby, I had a sweet tooth and I loved the color purple. I had a purple blanket. I still love purple. Yellow is now my favorite color. I didn't like yellow. I liked mustard yellow well enough. Quackalope has transformed me into a duck loving, yellow loving freak. I'm willing to admit that. Just like Alex is willing to say he's a troll, I'm willing to say that I love ducks and stand by the color yellow. I'm actually ordering clothing that has yellow in. It's just phone case, yellow. Look, never would have done that before. Josha, if KDM walked in on you cheating with another game, what game would it be? And would you go back to Kingdom Death? If Kingdom Death walked in on me cheating with another game, it would probably be Tainted Grail. That's the equivalent that I'm going to give it. And I would love it the exact same way. Would I go back to Kingdom Death? The question is, would Kingdom Death take me back? Because in any relationship that has that degree of, of an issue, something has gone wrong on both parties' sides. And so, possibly. I mean, highly likely. That or Townsfolk Tussle. And would I go back to Kingdom Death after Townsfolk Tussle? Maybe alone, not with, a group of people. John, thanks. Game Barrage. Sorry, that was an angry thanks. John, thanks. Game Barrage. Smiley face, and it looks like it's blowing a horn or being hit in the head. I'm not sure which one it is. So it's like something like that. Do you think you might do the last bottle of rum gameplay with more than 2 people? I would really like to. I'm excited that we got a copy of it and I have a duck on it. I'm going to be playing it hopefully within the next week or two. We will certainly be doing a played it once on it. Whether or not we do gameplay officially on the channel really depends on scheduling. I have probably 60 videos that are in the stockpile all the way from back in January and beyond that I just have not had the time to edit. So I spend probably 70 to 80 hours a week producing content for Quackalope, and that's not including just daily content management and talking with people. And so I am perpetually falling farther and farther behind on things that I would like to do. What is my least favorite board game? I mean, Monopoly's such a dumb answer. It's such an easy answer. Least favorite board game. What board game do I like less than almost any other board game? What board game would I genuinely not play if someone pulled it out and wanted to play it with me? I mean, it's got to be a party game. I don't know what it is, or it has to be a word game. Any of those games that have me spell things on the table, I'm so bad at them. They're just not fun for me. I just really, really don't like them. Yeah, I mean, it would have to be a party game or a word-based game. And I'm going to be honest, I avoid those genres enough at this point that I don't know that I know what I wouldn't like. Have you ever checked out the Carnival Zombie Kickstarter? Excited about the game, but the production is super delayed. I have not checked it out. I'm going to be honest. I don't even know what it is. Did you know that the rays of the sun are neither as radiant nor as replendent as the joy of seeing your face, as the joy seeing your face brings me? Okay. I actually really like that. I'm going to use that on Jan at some point. Vistari. Hello, Vistari. James Hack. Nice hat, Quack. Not Quack hat, nice. Game Barrage. There are 4 lights. 4 lights. Where? There's that light, there's this light, there's this light, there's that light, and there's a light above me. There are 5 lights. Close, but not quite. Paul J., what are your favorite underrated games? So I don't know if they're underrated. I'd say they aren't as popular as they should be. Does that count as underrated? Maybe lesser known. The communities that like them rate them very highly. My favorite games to discover over the last year have been those indie titles that that one person made in their basement for 7 years that probably has no justification to exist. And there's a few of those. There's the game that's coming out from Nat Nell, one of the guys in our Discord and commenting here, and one of our Discord moderators. He has a game that's being produced right now that we're going to be covering on the channel. And I think it's awesome. And right now it's totally underrated because no one's playing it. Everyone's just playtesting it. I think, despite the fact that Townsfolk Tussle did very, very well on Kickstarter, and I'm super happy for them, I think it deserves more attention. Spire's End, Forgotten Depths, even this the one that Successful Geek was mentioning, The Dark Ventures, those titles for me are the ones that I think genuinely are underrated only because they're underknown, if that makes sense. Does Etherfields come with a upgrade meal kit to your heart, metal key to your heart? I believe it actually does. I believe that speculation is confirmed. Vistari, will you be going to Essen or any other EU UK board game conventions when the world is slightly better state for international travel? Vistari, I will be going across all of Europe when the world opens up. I promise. Like I'm going to do like a 2 or 3 month road trip through Europe when the time comes. Successful Geek, good to see you here. Game Barrage, absolutely. Board Game Co, hey Game Barrage, absolutely. Vistari, hey Game Barrage / Brian, absolutely. Sandeep Ray, hello from India. What does Quackalope mean? Is there a reason behind the name? Quackalope is a breed of it's a breed of duck. So it's a breed of duck that has horn protrusions coming from its head. It means just that. I mean, you can see it in our logo and the graphics that we use. We use little rubber ducks because we think they're cute and they're easier to get a hold of than an actual physical duck. But that's all it is. They live over here in the eastern United States, shed their horns, migrate down south for the winter. All jokes aside, if you're not familiar with Quackalope or Jackalope, which is a rabbit with horns, it is a American mythical creature. And so a jackalope is a thing that is culturally known in the area that I grew up in. And so a quackalope is kind of a spin on that title. So a quackalope is just a mythical creature that is fun, adorable, and I have fallen madly in love with. And if anyone quotes me on that, I will deny ever saying it's a mythical creature at all. Fair Dev, Kingdom Death is hands down my favorite game ever, as it should be. Game Barrage, hello, Successful Geek. Well, hello, Successful Geek. Benjamin, I heard you shared a game idea with Leader Games. Tell us more. I shared a game idea with Leader Games. I do not believe I shared a game idea with Leader Games. I shared a game with Leader Games, which would be the, I have a friend, Natnell, who is currently working on a print and play that'll come out next year that we'll be covering heavily, and Patrick is playtesting it with him. But no, I don't know anything about that. Not sure my @ worked. Hey Alex. Board Game Co. It did. The only @ shower is highlighted in the user themselves. Fair enough. Zachary, do you have a favorite Garfield game? Architects right now is my favorite. I enjoy the chaos of worker placement that allows them to be entrapped and imprisoned. I like the scaling of your workers as they get left in locations doing more and more and more. And of course, I love the aesthetics and art and theme. That being said, I have not yet played Paladins. I just got my copy in. And so is it potentially going to take over Architects? I think it's likely to. Logical Gamer, thanks for the content. It is high quality and beautiful cinematography. Here's a video idea. Twilight Imperium versus Eclipse. Right for you, wrong for you. I like it. I would need to play. I don't own Eclipse as much as I desperately would like to. And I have not played TI as much as I need to accurately review it. So am I totally down to produce that content? Yes. When 5 years from now, or whenever I'm able to both get my hands on a copy of Eclipse and play those games a few times. It's a good idea, though. It's a brilliant idea. Chromatic Mana, good name. What do you think about games and experiences that maybe aren't meant to be fun, or games that are willing to hurt you, be arbitrarily difficult as part of the experience? Kingdom Death, as an example. I don't mind them if I know that's what I'm getting into, right? So the Grizzled was brought up a little bit earlier, and I think that's a game that isn't fun. It shouldn't be, right? But it is thematic and war-torn, and the art and the aesthetic and the gameplay are like you're trudging through the trenches. Seventh Continent is going to be brutal and survival. Robinson Crusoe is going to be complicated. There's going to be puzzles that you're trying to solve. And while it's fun to solve those puzzles, the actual experience of playing and how brutal it can be to take that element, or the cascading failure principle, I don't think that's a lot of fun. So I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all, as long as that's the document I've signed when I agreed to play the game, right? Because that's always the negotiation you're making. What have I agreed to, and are you fulfilling it? Low Productions, hey, nice studio. It's yours. Kane Joannick. I'm going to get all of these names wrong, by the way. Answer Benjamin's Leader Games question. That one's good. If only I had submitted a game to them. That would have been cool. Game Brigade. Where is Jesse shooting this from? Whose closet? I'm shooting this at a friend's studio, and this looks really nice on camera when, his logo's right there. This looks really nice on camera when it's not a computer screen that's recording it. Vistari, I accidentally missed backing Townsfolk Tussle. Am I a bad person? Yes, but not because you missed backing Townsfolk Tussle. Matt Fabian, hi Jesse. Hi buddy. Nice to see you here. Benjamin, Quack support. We need a lot more Quack support. Game Brigade, you can late pledge as well. It's a fair point. Chan, Quack support for life. Vistari, good to know. Thanks. He's still not going to back it. Dan Roberts, I don't think so. If that one didn't win me over, the art was off-putting after a while. Not so sure. People are now just talking to each other. I'm just intruding upon your conversations. I think the pledge manager is opening up in the next 2 weeks. That's not a question either. Logical Gamer, not a bad person. I missed it too. I tell myself, he is a bad person, but again, not because of that. I'm just reading your conversation publicly for all to see. I want a KDM, but not quite so heavy. And I think Townsfolk Tussle might help me with that. I think it definitely would in some form. It's not a campaign, but it definitely has that showdown experience that you're looking for. Let's see. Successful Geek. I'm not backing it either. You know what? Successful Geek, you're also a bad person. Joash, if you were trying to convince a video gamer to start playing board games, which one would you choose to introduce them with? Well, that's a hard question too, because what type of video gamer, right? I would probably honestly convince them to play Slay the Spire as a video game on their phone, tell them that it's really good, and then promise them that we could find a deck builder that would do the equivalent to that. Whether you were going to introduce Dale of Merchants or Clank or Fort, bring that concept, that mechanic they love into the hobby space, right? Through the venue of a good game. If they love Marvel, if they love cinematic things, well, then maybe try Marvel, Marvel United or Marvel Champions. Like if they enjoy Lord of the Rings, there's so many titles that play with IPs that people are going to be familiar with that genuinely do a good time. And so you already have them in the door. The only thing after that is then knowing the game well enough yourself and facilitating a good hosting environment so that the experience is positive, right? But it is a puzzle that we are all constantly trying to solve. Sorry, I'm trying to back less and less Kickstarters as I get a bit out of hand. So starting to budget myself on the number I back. I think that's a reasonable thing to do. When you first fall in love with board games, all of the Kickstarters get backed all of the time. Chromatic Mana, Order of the Slick game has a fun asymmetrical gameplay. Order of the Stick game has fun asymmetrical gameplay. Cool. That's not one that I'm familiar with. I'll have to dig into it. Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, Chaos in the Old World. Those both have strong asymmetry. I have Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. I have not played it yet. And Chaos in the Old World is not one that I have played either. So you're just proving once again that my experience as a board gamer significantly less than yours, but my age also remarkably less than yours, Board Game Co. Blake Rawls, thanks so much for the suggestion. I will definitely check them out. Thank you for answering the question for me. No, genuinely, I need that. Paul, Shut Up and Sit Down related, just released a glowing review on the second Eclipse. Do you know anything about the game? Any thoughts on it? I know that I really desperately want to play it. But if they released a glowing review on it, the odds of me liking it have decreased significantly. So I'm less interested in it now. No, genuinely. I have a friend that owns it. He said he really loved it, and I trust his opinion quite a bit. And so I'm really excited to dig into it. It's one of those games that if I had an opportunity to get, I would go out of my way to get it, but I haven't been able to justify the price tag at this point. Sandeep, are you a fan of Japanese anime? Have you played any good Japanese anime-based board games? The closest would probably be Kingdom Death. I like some Japanese anime and manga, but not enough to really dive into that culture. I know Jan is a much deeper fan, and so he might have more experience with some of the board games in that space. Vistari, Jesse, what is your favorite upcoming CMON game? Favorite is in like already kickstarted, or favorite is in like it'll show up sooner or later. CMON's doing the trifecta with Scooby-Doo and Looney Tunes and Teen Titans. Out of those, I think Looney Tunes was my favorite. Out of those three on the next upcoming Kickstarter, it was a chaotic little head-to-head game, a tactics game. Outside of that, I'm really, really, really excited for Massive Darkness and Blood Rage or Blood Rage 2 or whatever it is. We're doing some coverage of Blood Rage coming up, and Massive Darkness 2, I think executed on the asymmetric dungeon crawl experience in a way that I cannot wait to get to the table. Let's continue going. Someone redacted their message, or the message was redacted. I'm not sure which one. Jesse and Board Game Co. favorite Zombicide. I don't like the Zombicide. Board Game Co. loves, I think, Black Plague is the one that he really likes. That he's told me I will play with him, and I'm open to it. I just haven't. It hasn't been fun for me yet. I think Alex's is Black Plague. Yep. Okay. Alex is okay to be wrong. It is okay to be wrong. That is very true. Vistari, this might be an indicator I watch too much of your content. It very well could be. Green Horde is the one that Michael is saying is the best. Arguably, they're all just okay. Sean, quack. Yeah, Sean, nice to have you here. If you've watched any of our gameplay videos, Sean is one of our recent additions, common faces that you see, who perpetually beats me at a lot of games, but rolls dice just about as bad as I do. Sorry, looking forward to doing another TT playthrough at some point with Board Game Co. I just need to hope it's not semi-co-op or has trader mechanic. Yeah, Alex will rip your heart out. Sean, you don't get rules wrong. You play confidently. It's also very true, my friend. Let's see. What else do we have? And we're getting down to the bottom of this. So we're actually catching up on things. Let's see. Nope, never mind. I'm not getting down to the bottom. It skipped forward, and I thought I was down to the bottom. Okay. No, back up to the top. Where did Sean join? See, Alex, this is the stuff that people are looking for. Oh wow. No, I'm not even close to the bottom. Holy cow. I saw someone ask if I was mispronouncing barrage on purpose. I was not. I am reading from this far away, and so if I really wanted to read everything as appropriately as possible, I would be about here. So I'm stumbling through what I think is correct and speaking confidently. Let's continue going here. You don't get rules wrong, you play confidently. I like that statement. Black Plague looks great. Maybe getting it for my son. Probably fun for your son. Arturo, what do you think about Architects of the West Kingdom? Would you rather that one or Rising Sun? I know they are very different games, but it's a dilemma I'm encountering. I did not enjoy Rising Sun. I did really enjoy Architects of the West Kingdom. So there's your answer from my opinion. Why is that the answer? I think Architects is a really, really good, a really good worker placement game with some interesting twists and choices that you're making when it comes to that game mechanic. Whereas Rising Sun, while a lot of people love it, I found the miniatures overdone and the territory control mechanic of it less interesting than other territory control or games that have that war system in them. Sean, Wingspan versus Everdell, Board Game Co. Everdell versus Wingspan, Successful Geek, Everdell versus Wingspan. Glad we're having this debate here, friends. Vistari, I would agree with Alex. I bought Everdell for a Wingspan fan for Christmas. Hope it wins them over. You're a horrible, evil person who gives great gifts. Mark, Everdell is better than Wingspan. Natnell, Everdell is better than Wingspan. Sorry, Jesse. Everdell better than Wingspan. Thank you, people. You're all wonderful. Esteban, what is your favorite 3-person route combination? I don't have the math booklet with me. I'd want to do the math. Favorite 3-person: moles, cats, Corvid, if that matches up. I'm not sure it does, but if it does, it gives you a lot of stuff to play with. If not, Corvid work better with higher player counts, though. Maybe a in between, like moles, cats, vagabond. I kind of want the Eerie in there as well, but I kind of replace the Eerie with the moles. They dominate the board in a similar way, just different game systems. All right. Sir, hey, glad to see I got on the stream. Love your stuff. Glad you like the stuff. Glad to also have you here on the stream. Everdell's better than Wingspan. Yes. We've heard it. We've heard the argument before. Yes, more Oath content. Absolutely more Oath content. I'm very excited to bring it to people. I think people are going to be I think Alex might come down and actually play Oath with me. I think that might be the next time he visits. Alus, I've been on the fence on Enos. Big Root fan. Feel like they occupy a similar space. Any thoughts? If I'd ever played Enos, I would be able to tell you. I have not. I assume other people might let you know. Successful Geek told me I lost my audio. Then he said JK. Josh, Did you back Dire Alliance? I did back Dire Alliance. Sean, Pandemic Fall of Rome is my favorite iteration. Cool. We'll have to try it together or bring it over and cover it. That'd be fun. The Board Gamer, when do we get more KDM content? We get more KDM content as soon as I can film and edit it. I care too much. I've said this way too many times. So here's the good news for you. I'm currently working on lowering my production quality to the point where I can produce more content without getting so far behind. KDM fits into that. I have this dream of the best way to do it that I just haven't been able to execute on, not because I can't, just because of the time commitment that it takes to do that. And so the odds are sooner than later for Kingdom Death content. Board Game Co. About to head out, need to run home. I will watch the whole stream later. Make sure to make plenty of digs at my expense while I'm gone, so I have something to chuckle at when I get back. Don't you worry, buddy. I'm very good at digs. Zachary, woohoo! Dave Ramsey's shout out. Absolutely. I've really been enjoying his content. Who knows? It might not be right for you, but if you're trying to deal with your finances, it's probably worth checking out for a second. Stenbro, hey Jesse, can you go into detail on your long drives? What do you listen to? What happens if you're falling asleep? How do you space breaks for food and washroom? Do you drive fast or in the slow lane? Sure. So I drive a lot. My entire career has been on the road. I enjoy road trips, and next year I'm planning a extensive one across the entire United States to bring content here to the channel. As far as my approach to long drives go, I have a few ground rules. I absolutely, under no circumstances, drive tired. If I start nodding off or my trigger is like shaking my head a little bit, I will immediately find a rest stop, a Walmart, a church, a hotel. I will pull over and I will take a nap in the car, no exceptions, period. It's just not, you just can't drive when you're completely exhausted. It's too dangerous for you and it's too dangerous for other people. I stop at gas stations along the way. I typically do not take an extensive break between wherever my destination is and wherever I'm going, outside of pausing to sleep and walk around at a rest stop. When it comes to what I listen to, I go in between a cycle of music from YouTube. A lot of that right now is going to be bluegrass stuff. I'll listen to a lot of audiobooks and self-help guides and stuff that is talking about motivation and work. I'll usually use the drive as a time to process and dig into something that I'm working on, like consuming a ton of Dave Ramsey content while I'm working on building financial plan and setting this up so I can do Quackalope full time. Those drives are consumed with hours and hours of me studying and researching and trying to better myself along the journey. I also just love some good audiobooks, and so I'll ask for suggestions sometimes and dig into those. One of the other things that I've been doing for these long drives that I've really enjoyed has been posting a Facebook message up saying, private message me, let's talk. And I've had a ton of different content creators, fans, community members, whoever, just give me a call. If I have a 14-hour drive or however long, I'll just have people give me a call and we'll talk for 30 minutes or an hour and hang out. And that's been really cool. And do I drive in the fast or slow lane? Another rule of thumb, I typically always drive at night. I prefer to drive with less people on the road because people are going to be the biggest threat you have when you're driving places. I always stay right at, if not slightly above the speed limit, unless it is so dark or foggy that you can't get a clear sight of what's ahead of you. I absolutely do not sprint down the street. I'll usually occupy the slow lane, unless, of course, I'm passing a semi-truck. And then I will approach a semi-truck very cautiously, carefully, watch the map for a clean space to get through, and then speed up as I pass so that I'm not occupying or hovering in a blind spot for an extended period of time. My car currently has 220,000 miles on it, and I have had absolutely no accidents or no tickets, or I've never been in trouble driving. I have a perfect driving record, which is, in fact, on my dating profile. Joash, there you go. Spinrow, I love your Christmas lights. They're not mine, but I'm glad you love them. Vistari, will QuackCon UK be happening? Give me to 2025. Let's see here. Cody P, do you plan to do any more videos for the 5 reasons to buy/not buy this game? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We are working on confirmation bias as we speak. Pathos. Number 1 game you think you're wrong about and why it's Marvel Champions. So you're taking the stance that Marvel Champions is bad. It could be Marvel Champions. I haven't dug into it enough. I did just get the campaign with its big green box. I did just get the more narrative focused campaign. I am excited to play that. But you're very right. Maybe I could substantially be wrong on that. Number one game I think I'm wrong about. Interesting question. I think there's, wrong, right, or wrong. I'm trying to think of like a game that I'm positive on that I probably shouldn't be. Oh, I think there's a chance I'm wrong on Seventh Continent. I think there's a strong chance I'm wrong on Seventh Continent. I do like it, but I have been disappointed by it about 50% of the time I've played. Manderlomir. Can we expect any more Etherfields coverage? Absolutely. Gameplay coming early into December. We're currently working on, and hopefully a review at some point, but we're currently working on content for it. It's just a bigger game, right? A-Rod, is there any chance you would make a video teaming up with La Matineta? Absolutely. Jan, my co-host, is from Puerto Rico, is hoping to do some Spanish-only content, pairing up with them for their channel. As far as stuff here for our channel, we've invited them on. We absolutely have an open door. They do have strong accents, so we'll get on and we'll figure out what's the best way to produce content for us as a community, right? But I'm a big fan of them, and I certainly hope we can collaborate sometime soon. Real question: favorite Pixar movie? Up. That was very sad, but it's really good. Let's see here. Stembro, 69 are watching right now. Let's not change this. We're at 73. Sorry, my friend. Azil, is there such a thing in this hobby as a must-play game, or is this hobby too varied and able to find everyone's interest? I think there's enough variation in this hobby that there isn't a series of must-plays unless you're someone like me or really deep into the hobby and you want to be able to have honest and accurate conversations about it. I think in that case, then there is the potentiality for some must plays, right? I think there's a lot of games that I really should experience at least once. But no, play what you enjoy, dig into your interests, always be willing to experiment and explore. But if you find a venue that you don't like and you just don't think you're going to like a game because the art or the aesthetic or yeah, that's fine. Just have fun. Wingspan is better than Everdell. I'm sorry, I'm late to the party. Thank you, William. Glad to have you here. I need all the support I can get. How many questions behind are you till you have a panic attack? Or do we just do a 24-hour Q&A? I'm catching up, I think. I might not be, but I feel like I am. Have you played Dice Throne? And if so, have you ever won / given your die rolling skills? I own Dice Throne. Dice Throne may be a game that's on a list of games that I don't need to keep in my collection anymore. Dice throwing skills aside, I really want Dice Throne Adventures though, so I just don't know that. I don't know if the core game is something that I'll get to the table anymore. Sean, the teach is usually less than a full playthrough until the Quackmaster says, "Let's film." That is true. That is true. That's probably why we get so many things wrong. Video production and content production is complicated. What is your favorite designer and what is your favorite mechanic? Favorite mechanic would be flavor text by far. I think it's substantially one of the most important things you can include in the building and design of your game. And I think it is important, incredibly important, to have your flavor text established and developed alongside the other mechanics and systems that you're putting in place. It is by far the most important mechanic. Outside of that, my favorite designer, probably Cole Whirl, Leader Games, or Whirligig Games. Just absolutely brilliant and fascinating individual who has made so many titles that I have thoroughly and entirely enjoy and have consumed my experience. I just can't get enough of him. Sean said, "Did you say you usually read the rulebook before we play?" No, I said I try to. I said, I'll rewind. I might have said that. I always attempt. I do my very best to run the game and read through the rulebook and understand it before we play. Does that always happen? No. Sometimes the game arrives and I text Sean and Sean shows up and we read the rulebook as we're digging into it. I'm very bad at my job. It doesn't mean I don't try to do my best, but I am very bad at what I do. Azil, favorite root faction to play and least. Least favorite is going to be the darn lizards. I just don't enjoy their mechanic. Favorite is going to be the Corvid. I love the hidden bluffing element of that faction. Gabe, I was still watching. Thank you for answering. I'm glad you were, and I'm glad I answered. And the question is now: are you still watching? Successful Geek, why are you still watching? If I could take any two epic level games and cross them over, what would they be? I would take Tainted Grail and Twilight Imperium. Give me an aesthetic that isn't space and is brutal, cutthroat, disgusting, and, well, Tainted Grail. I mean, I like the combat system. I like the combat mechanics. I like the world, the explorer. But I really like the operating system, the 4X system of TI. So merge those two together. By golly. Gentleman Jack, hi from Canada. Hello from DC now, the States, America, Kentucky. I really liked your older video featuring Red Raven Games. Any other thoughts on doing another video focusing on one designer or production company? Yeah, this is another series that I've been working on that I just has fallen by the wayside because of the amount of stuff that we're trying to do. Our showcase videos. I love doing them as well. So when we have a big pile of games, all that are from a single designer or publishing house, our hope is to pull together and do a showcase. I have one that I'd like to do for Stonemaier. I'm currently working on one for Portal Games. Leader Games would be a good one for us to do a showcase on. I just closed my mouth way too hard. Did you hear that on camera? It was an aggressive jaw close. So yes, and thank you for reminding me that series exists and that we should give it some more love. Game Brigade, Brigade, and I keep saying Game Barrage. You're absolutely right. I read confidently and not accurately. I'm sorry. I'm a jerk. I'm assuming I'm missing. I'm assuming I'm missing everyone's names throughout the entirety of this. I already apologize for this, but I apologize saying that it was Game Barrage. No excuse. Send me a message. I'll Venmo you like a board game as an apology. Aaron S., do you enjoy cooking? I love cooking, but I love cooking for other people, not for myself. I really like hosting. And so if it's just me on my own, I'm going to go buy fast food and slowly get larger. If I have a partner or a friend or people coming over, or I can do anything to host for the evening, that's when I'll spend all day preparing and cleaning and getting the right stuff. Do you enjoy cooking? Cards Against Humanity for me. That is a good answer. Yeah, I have no interest in playing Cards Against Humanity. Successful Geek. That sounds like a much-needed video segment. Game Brigade. The Game Brigade Barrage. Yeah, we'll do that series. Let's collaborate on the Game Brigade Barrage on my channel. I feel like I owe that to you now, so let's do it. Wobble Bears Trail. There was a game that got you deep. Was there a game that got you deep into board gaming and saying this is something I'm passionate about and want to make a living from? D&D and Kingdom Death. D&D first, and then I fell in love with Kingdom Death through D&D by searching what was the most ridiculous thing I could find. Keep the beard. It looks good. Well, thank you. The current stance on the beard is that it is being kept. I just wish it would grow here. I've got that Scotch-Irish ancestry, and so I can own an Amish look. I'm just not sure I'm ever... And I do have a mustache, but that hair is so blonde. By golly. I just need it to be like really long and curly, and then I can like be a gentleman with a blonde beard. Do you receive any requests to Kickstarters send you a prototype, or do the games arrive to your home? Do you request? I don't pursue a lot of prototypes. A lot of prototypes are people have sent me a message. We probably say no to about 60% or 70% of the requests that we get. The ones that we do say yes to, they send a prototype. We give them our address at that point. We always make sure we try to have a phone call with them to just talk through and get a better understanding of what their product is, and if they are a responsible company when it comes to who we're telling our fans and audience to go support. And then we cover it. Leisure Lee, your video playing Cthulhu Death May Die made me want it badly. It also made me want it badly, both when I played it and when I edited it. What Theganor? Again, I'm getting all of these wrong. I wish I had more time to actually know how to pronounce all of these. Have you ever considered doing the voiceover work, audiobook narration, or video series of your reading? All the times you read flavor text, you make it so compelling and awesome. It's been a childhood fantasy of mine to be a VO artist or do narrative work. And so as I start working with companies to write official flavor text like Veiled Fate, I will probably out of pocket hire an audio engineer to make sure that we can spend the time necessary to craft to craft a audio version of it, because I think it would be really cool. Now they haven't agreed to that, so terms and conditions may apply. But intentionally, yes. Game Brigade, there are four lights. There are four lights. Game Brigade. Jesse looks up the reference. He might get a good laugh. I don't know the reference. There's still five lights. Victor, Quack, question on route. There are any rules for Corvids against the Clockworks bots? Have you ever tried? I haven't played Clockwork much. I did the print and play back in the day. I've read through the rules. I've demoed Marquise once. I just haven't had time to dig into it. I don't have as much time for solo as I would like. If his friend that he is all named Freddy, then it would be 5 lights at Freddy's. Matt Thadiman, worst board game. Gotta be Who Goes There. We played it once. We didn't have fun. King K, how do you get videos on YouTube? How do you get views on YouTube? You do content that answers a question or solves a problem. You do it constantly and consistently for an extended period of time. We've been operating for about 2 years, and you really, really value and invest in the first views that you get. The first comment, the first interaction, the first people. Never underestimate how valuable this is, right? From the very beginning. Successful Geek, I got to make a video saying Quackalope all wrong. Game Brigade, please do. Now I'm going to hopefully say your name right or wrong across the board. I'm so sorry. This is why I shouldn't do live streams. I have time to edit and still not fix things like this. Successful Geek, love that reference. Natnell, thank you for the shout out, Jesse. Well, thank you for making an incredible game that we're going to tell everyone to go play when it's time. Terrence, cool. Game Brigade, Successful Geek, especially after he said 5 lights. I still don't understand this. Will you be at the next Gen Con, and will you be doing any sort of meetup? Yes, absolutely. Whenever more conventions happen, Quackalope will be at as many as we possibly can be when the world starts opening up and there's a vaccine or something like that. At those Quackalopes, or at those conventions, please be prepared for a Quackalope get together. We're going to be doing a media and publisher focused one, and we're going to be doing a community focused one. It will be heavily promoted, heavily announced, but when it comes to Gen Con, there's no way we're going to Gen Con without at least 1 or 2 rent out the entire bar and have a mini game night and mini convention of our own within the context of the bigger space, right? It'll just be so much fun. Christian Leber, when will you marry Jan? Whenever Jan tells me he'll marry me. Spinroz, get a real duck on the show just one time. Oh, it'll happen. Wood. Natnell, you make me blush. Natnell, you deserve to blush. You're a very handsome, charming, and talented young man who is very lucky to already be married. Your husband, just let him know I'm jealous. Azil, would you ever be informed on design? Would you ever be interested in designing your own game? Absolutely. But whoever did, I'd want to be known as one of those little indie publisher designers who's made something that shouldn't exist. I want to be in the catalog of the greats, the people that I admire currently, the Spire's End, the Forgotten Depths, the Into the Woods by Nat and Nell, like Townsfolk Tussle. That's where, like, so if we designed, which is, I mean, we've prototyped, we're thinking, we've definitely have ideas. I think we might end up being developers at some point on some titles. Designers is a long way off, but is it a dream? Yeah, it has to be. Let's see here. Christian, I'd really like to see more content like the introduction playlist for Vast Mysterious Manor. Will you be more like that? That worked really well with Jan and I together. If Jan and I were together more, we would do more of that style of content. We're trying to get through Root, so we've been working our way through Root. Yes, there will be more. It's just a matter of time and scheduling. Matt Fabian, are you mispronouncing barrage on purpose? I'm not. Or brigade on purpose. I'm not. Again, it's just how, for some reason, my brain is currently translating words into my face. What you don't know is I'm mispronouncing a lot of other words as well. They're just not as notable as a content creator who is nice enough to like actually be on my stream, and I've messed that up. Stenbro, how much do you care about stuff like politics, the greater culture, life, and philosophies? Are there more current events? Are you a more current events guy or bigger picture? I'm a more bigger picture person. I am currently completely disconnected from American politics. It was eating a hole in my brain that I couldn't get away from because I was just following and stressing and absolutely being devoured by the state of our country right now. I also don't think the internet's a good place to have conversations about social issues or politics or policies. I heavily stand by the concept that the only real impact and the only real change you can have on anything, on the world as a whole, is by really paying attention to the people that are directly in front of you. And so focus and be good and invest in the people that are around you that you care about. And I think that'll have a bigger impact than almost anything you could do online, through the greater kind of, current day events. I heavily am fascinated by philosophy and psychology and the structure of my own mind and what would make a more fair and open and free world. So I spend a lot of time thinking about it, but the deeper you get into it, the more you realize that the premises that you have, you don't really know about, and the stuff that you think you're learning are probably wrong, depending on the context that you're learning them in. And so, yeah, that's my position. Let's see here. Leisure. How do you feel? How did it feel to sell your first game in shelf or sell? I don't believe I've sold a game. I have given away a lot of games. I'm not convinced I've sold anything yet. Well, no, I did sell some stuff, but that was just because my friend came over and said, I'm taking stuff. And he walked out of the room and left money on the table. It was sold, but not purposefully. Successful Geek. He just mispronounces all sort of stuff. It isn't on purpose. Yeah, that's right. Leisure. Oh, we went down. Oh no, we're scrolling back up. I remember seeing that Michael gave me. Yep, there we are. All right. He isn't. Okay. Woohoo! My 2 times watching finally caught up. Cool. What are you sleeping on tonight? Tonight I'm sleeping in my car as I drive down to Florida. That's the plan. I have my cloak with me and a pillow. I'll probably stop right at the top of Florida. I think I'll probably get about 10 hours into the drive of a 13-hour drive. Successful Geek, when is the next confirmation bias video? Wednesday, I believe. It's going to be a collaboration video with Board Game Co. Bubba, I love Bubba. Here's the hard-hitting question. Do crabs think that fish are flying? Well, naturally, of course they do. I mean, have you seen those, amorphous creatures just sailing in the sky? No, I think crabs understand the physicality and texture of water as they, also float and drift down through it. I think they have a sense of that, right? Because they also go out of the water sometimes and into the sand. The real question is, do fish think crabs are drowning? And I'd say probably. Victor, which ones are your favorite YouTube channels? I have a lot of YouTube channels I watch. If you want to know some of my favorites that aren't board game related stuff, I'd say Lockpicking Lawyer is going to be one of my favorites. I'd say, Alex Steele, he's a blacksmith. Ants Canada is going to be fantastic. Sierra Farrell, Gems on VHS, Country AF. I really enjoy the Hoof GP. I just found a woodsman that I really have been enjoying. Wrangler Star puts out some interesting content from time to time. Good Mythical Morning with Rhett and Link is going to be a classic. There's just a lot of good ones out there. When can we expect Quack sweaters? Next year. We'll get merchandise up and running. We just need to get to a position where Jan can go closer to full time so that we can operate it. Can you dunk? No, I cannot sport. Christian Leber, well, no. We all know Quacks can dunk. We all know Quacks can dunk. Mike Matthews, thank you for the $5. Come drink bourbon. Sir, am missing bourbon. So I would love to come drink bourbon with you as soon as possible, my friend. Matt Fabian, I'd love to do the TI versus Eclipse right and wrong when you do it in 5 years. TI 4 is now mine by now, right? Yes, it is yours. You can unsubscribe from the Patreon. Birds, junk and garage removal services. Have you ever checked out self-published games on the Game Crafter? I've bought a few myself and really enjoyed them. I'd like to do a series where I start covering some of those titles. I just haven't had the bandwidth or capacity to do so yet. But yes, we are very, very hopeful that I will have some open space to cover some print plays and just things that are like weird little indie titles. It's just harder finding the ones that speak to me. Do you know anything about Leader Games' upcoming games? Fort Expansion, Root Expansion, Void Lich, Castle Blood, Secret Project? I don't know anything, and if I did, I'd have to murder you. Let's see here. Brass Lancashire or Brass Birmingham? I have yet to play either, although Jan, I believe, swears by Birmingham. Whichever one's heavier. Jan is the one that Jan still owns. Moofin, I know Kingdom Death is your first favorite board game of all time. What's your second? The 3 games that popped in my mind were Root, Townsfolk Tussle, that's such a hard question. Root, Townsfolk Tussle, and Scythe are the ones that popped in my head. I'm not sure any of those are actually there, but they certainly compete with that space. I'm really bad at lists. I don't like ranking things. Justin, the question I redacted was already answered about Eclipse Second Edition. Hi, Jesse. I hope you're doing well, sir. Sir, I am doing better than I deserve. Sean, thanks for the shout out about my poor dice rolling. Well, look, I'm still worse than you at it. Sean, again, you're about 30 minutes behind. You're reading at 6:10 now. I don't. Okay. Hey, what do you think about Etherfields? I saw your unboxing. Have you gotten time to play it? I already went through this a little bit earlier in the channel. We have had a chance to play it, although I have only played the prologue, whereas Jan is digging into the core game a little bit deeper. I'm excited to continue digging in, although the prologue wasn't the best introduction I could have had. I thought it took a little bit too long to get up and running. Successful Geek, we need to get him an hour behind. Stop. Okay. We're already an hour 30 into this. There's still 70 people watching. When I start seeing that number drop to like 20, that's when I'll be like, okay, you've had enough of me. Loved your podcast with Sarah. Nice hearing talk at the normal speed. Haha, will she be back again? Yes, and if you are a fan of the podcast, swing over to the Quackalope podcast over on Facebook. Her, me, Alex, and Jan are there interacting with people all the time, literally every day. But she will absolutely be back on the show. We've already recorded another Played It Once episode with her, and I'd love to have her as a guest on the main weekly Quack show at some point soon, coming down the line. Nat Nell, do you know Over the Garden Wall has its own graphic novel series? Do you have all of them yet? I don't. I am familiar with them. The only reason I don't have them yet is because I simply have not pressed order on my Amazon wish list. You have to save something for Christmas. Did you know you are simply beautiful inside and out? I am moderately okay both inside and out. So your standards should be raised a bit. Successful Geek, when are you going to make beautiful videos of NatNel app full game in full physical prototype glory? Probably early January, if not late January or early February. I'm not entirely sure. We're still coordinating that. As soon as his game is ready to be, shouted about, is when we will absolutely do that. Daniel Colorado, greetings from Mexico. I just found your channel and I really like your style. I'm glad you're here. Congratulations on finding the channel, and I'm excited for you to be a part of this community. I hope we can be whatever you're looking for. Simply perfect. Josh. Look, all right. Oh my God, did he call me yo? And again, I messed up your name again. Jose, is that it? Is it Jose? Again, I'm not. I just move forward, I guess, and then I don't like. I'm starting to blush. I'm actually starting to blush now. This is why we don't do live streams. Okay. Now, once the game is final and ready, now I'm really genuinely blushing. I can get him a beautiful copy printed. Absolutely. Stan bro, do you even lift? I should more than I do. I don't, but I could. Successful Geek at full. Is that super exciting? It looks amazing already. It is amazing already. Before you play, hey, glad I was able to pass by and quack. If you're not over following Monique and Naveen at Before You Play, please make sure you do so. They do some incredible content. I assume they're not watching anymore, but glad they were able to pass by and quack. Benjamin, hey all, Jesse's live. I am for an hour and 30 minutes. Hi, Monique. Absolutely. Jose said that. Heavenly Touch, Best Awaken Realms game. Tainted Grail, right now. That's my favorite. Lockdown is going to be really good, but I don't think it'll pass Tainted Grail for me. And ISS Vanguard is on the way, so I should know more soon. Sean, teach me how to edit as you lower your standards, and I can help. Maybe. It takes so long, unless you want to build a career out of it. I hate using people's time in that way. Stambro, who are your biggest influences on your personality during your formative years? During my formative years, like I'm 27 now, so that means I just stopped developing, right? Isn't that how that works? So when I was younger, some of the things that I know that come to mind in terms of influences that I had, I grew up in a religious household, and so Ravi Zacharias and reading, reading through, preachers and evangelists and things in that area kind of set the foundation for the morality that I exist in and under at the moment. I'm not currently a practicing Christian due to some other complicated things that maybe if someone asks a question, we can dive into that, but it'll be a long answer. But I still believe in. Well, let me extend on that a little bit. I'm comfortable in my spiritual journey. I've been hurt pretty badly through and because of the church, and so I'm comfortable with the fact that people, if there is, and I do believe that there is a greater meaning and a point to this, right? A point to life. I believe in people, and I believe in existence, and I believe in something bigger than us. And so because of that, I also believe, I also believe that it's okay to be on a journey, that where you are right now doesn't mean it's going to be where you are forever. And it doesn't mean that you have to have made up your mind or know what's true or ever fully know what's true. Right. And so that's where I am on that when it comes to that. Biggest influences. So it would have been the church, it would have been faith, it would have been spirituality, and then it would have metamorphized into reading a ton of novels, reading things like the Gulag Archipelago, and reading things like Alexander Solzhenitsyn, A Day in the Life of Alexander Solzhenitsyn, reading Atlas Shrugged, finding and diving into. When I broke up with my ex, I read a book called 12 Rules to Life by Jordan Peterson. A lot of those things have really started to shape who I am. Nowadays, I tune into. I mean, right now I'm heavily studying Dave Ramsey to learn about financial management. Gary Vee is a massive influence on me. Watching Philip DeFranco grow, Zay Frank when it comes to his style and personality. My dad. I'm so much like my dad in a lot of ways. So let's continue going. Where are we? Richard, don't forget to come up to Ontario, Toronto. Lots of game studios, FLGs, and board game cafes, and a trip up to Gulf. I will do a Canada trip or a Canada trip whenever I have the opportunity to do so. Stanbro, what are your favorite non-board game and non-self-help positive podcast / YouTube channels? Non-board game and non-self-help. So I did list a lot of YouTube channels that were on there. The Huff GP and Ants Canada and Rhett and Link, Philip DeFranco. None of those are self-help specific. Gary Vee would be one that is, but isn't at the same time. Podcast / YouTube channels. Podcasts. I right now the Quackalope podcast. I listen to a lot more audiobooks than I do podcasts at the moment. I do like a podcast, a comedy podcast called Who Are These Podcasts? So Jan, the goose, this is popping. It is popping. It is popping, currently standing at still about 70 people watching. Jan again, when is Jan coming back onto the channel? Rarely coming back onto the channel. Good Day Games, do you believe in life after board games? No, I believe in life and board games. Calix, hi Jesse, where do I send you my invoice for the time you made you made me buy photosynthesis and hated it? Just kidding, you can keep the money. Have you tried the expansion yet? I have not tried the expansion yet. I'm sorry that I encouraged you to purchase a game that you then didn't enjoy. If you would genuinely like to file a complaint with me, I would be happy to send you a replacement game to make up for the game that you lost. Genuinely, Jan, make a note, Calix with a C. We're going to find out who this is and how we can ship them another game. Before you play, Jan, Goose Jan. Hi, Jan. Pathos. Any chance of seeing some B-roll of game pieces on top of the beautiful polished head of Jan? Well, that's a request that if I was a goose, I would certainly oblige. Greetings from Bulgaria. Welcome from Bulgaria. So cool that we have so many people from all over the world here. Only about 30% of our audience is here in the States, so I think that's awesome. What are your favorite states and cities/towns to visit short term? New York City's massive and depressive and fascinating to visit. Washington, D.C. is the same, but I really, really like nature and the world. And so Yellowstone or the Smokies or, some of the Florida beaches. California was incredible to drive through. So a lot of things that I like, but, who is this Jan guy? Un loco. See. Successful Geek, what makes Jan such a glorious goose, and what would you do without him? Jan is a very glorious goose, and I would say the thing that makes him the most glorious is the fact that he is a good and loyal friend. And what would I do without him? I would be significantly more stressed than I typically am. Successful Geek, what would your take for a live stream be on just a hangout where you aren't locked into questions versus official Q&As? I would need some topics. I'm not against it, but this was supposed to be a Q&A, so I'm doing a Q&A. So why not? Before you play, Twilight Imperium is so dang good. Yes, it is. And now that I know you play it, I desperately want to play it with you all. Jose, Jan, do you like Aliens franchise? Jesse hurt me so deeply there. Wolf 310. Were you able to read the Title Blades lore/art book? I did. It was beautiful. And I'm really, really impressed with what they did. Hi, Jan. And I'm back. Hey, Jan. Board Game Co. This has been a mess ever since you left. Successful Geek, welcome back. We need more questions. I enjoy a lot more than he does. William, yay, Red Raven Showcase. Let's do another one with Stonemeyer, only if I can be in it, though. All right, William, come visit. Let's get you in it in December. Jose, Alex, did you end up backing Dire Alliance? Board Games in a minute. Hi, Successful Geek. Who is Sarah? Welcome. Woo, it's Sarah. Welcome. Board Games in a minute. Board Game Co. Hi, Sarah. Wolf 310. Hi, Sarah. Board Game in a minute. Sarah. Board Game Co. Darn it. We've also mispronounced one of our close friends' name in writing. So I'm not the only one. Ryo, hello from France. I love your video. What is holding you back? You are great, my man. I am not. I am okay. Even if you don't like Nemesis when it's a flavor text maker, it is a flavor text maker. It is an incredible experience, just not a game. Successful Geek. Board Game Co. is being like Jesse and saying names wrong. He is. Mike Matthews retracted his message. Nat Nell. Hello, Board Games in a minute. Jose, Jesse, and Jan, thank you for Thank you for that root video. Helped me understand the game and pick up the game. I think we need to make Board Game Co. bigger than Quackalope so he doesn't pick up Jesse's bad habits. No, it might happen. Mike Matthews, grow a mustache. I'm working on it. I am so far behind. Wolf 310. Thanks for the Q&A. Off to watch the tantrum live. Sorry, that's all right. Totally reasonable. Something happened a few minutes ago because we lost like 10 people all at the same time. Board Games in a minute. Hi, Nat. Michael Culberson. I'm interested in late backing Etherfield. Should I back just the core, or would it be worthwhile to back the expansions? And if so, which ones? If you have the budgetary means to justify backing everything, back everything. If you don't, and you're a little bit more strapped financially, I don't know which expansions would benefit you the most because, of course, I haven't played them or experienced them. I'd look at the theme and the lore and see what you're the most interested in. But my advice would be Etherfields. Etherfields is probably going to be a game that you're going to enjoy if you've started to dig into it and you're still compelled. Aaron S. Got to go eat dinner, so I'm not sure that you'll make it to this one, but I'll check later. I'd love to start my own board game channel. What advice would you give to a newbie? Start yesterday, or start sometime. Advice for a newbie channel: make stuff that's bad initially. Like I did a video on this, right? Make stuff that isn't good. That's okay. Not designed for anyone. And answer these two things. Here are the two things you need to determine. What question are you asking? What problem are you solving? Once you've determined that, just start producing. Good Days Games. I'm working on a series of games that all have the same characters. Objective is to have them all feature different mechanics. Have you seen something like this before? What are your thoughts on it? Interesting. I don't know that I've seen something like that before. I like the premise of it. I like the initial idea that you're always playing with like the same core group, but things change and shift from game to game. I don't know. I think I'd look at some of the heavier big box games where they're actually creating modules and expansions that exist within such a large framework. That would be maybe the closest reference point that I would think of, because every expansion that they're making for those big games is kind of like a little mini expansion or another game unto itself. Board games in a minute. I went down again. Where am I? Yep, board games in a minute. QuackCon, yay. Natnell, Corey, Goose and Board Game Co. Y'all made it. Christian Leber, new ship. Corey Christensen, I don't know how long it's been. If you value your money, don't watch Board Game Co. or Quackalope's Etherfields video. It's probably fair. Quinn Lover 121 between Innis, Komet, Cyclades, Blood Rage, and Chaos of the Old World. Which are your favorites and least favorites? Any other games that have fallen into this category that you suggest? Alex would be the expert on this. I'm not the expert on these games. I oftentimes don't like them, but I did like. No, I haven't played many of them. Nope, I'm not the expert on this. I haven't played enough to give a justifiable answer. Tyler, how would you rate Kidium solo play? Very high. It is where I spend most of my time. Solo or duo is where I spend a lot of time on Kingdom Death. But I use the Scribe app to help me do that. Board Game Co. Blood Rage, easily the best. I refuse to play. I refuse to say any of them are the least favorite. Good to know because I'm going to be doing some coverage of Blood Rage soon. Oningsgal. Hey, Jesse. Your channel has been one of my favorites lately. Glad to hear that. Glad to have you here. Here's a channel for you that is super underrated that you should check out. Thinker Themer. They are great board game reviewers. Cool. I will make sure to check them out. Absolutely. Board Game Co. Alex Jan, one of you who's currently watching, remind us to all check out Thinker Themer. Corey, which is your fifth favorite? Board Game Co. Reasonable question. Likely Komet. So there you have it. Blood Rage is the best. Komet is hands down by far the worst. My order would be Blood Rage, Innis, Cyclades, Chaos of the Old World, and then Komet. Good list, Board Game Co. I'd agree with you equivocally, undeniably. I'm surprised you have Cyclades over Chaos. So am I. I'm shocked, Corey, honestly. I mean, I know I just said that I'd stand by everything Board Game Co. says, but he's clearly wrong on that list order. It's probably honestly the opposite way around. Elijah, hey, what are you using for a table to play your games on? I'm trying to figure out the best budget option for big games like Kingdom Death, and I'm thinking a 6x2 folding table. I currently use a hardwood folding table that is fairly big. It can fit comfortably 8 people around it. And then I take a wool blanket and I put it over top of it. It makes a really, really nice playing surface for an affordable price. Tallywort. How do you deal with games that take up more table space than you have? I stack things across the floor and other tables and chairs. Board Game Co., I hear that. My biggest problem with Chaos, and as much as I love it, is that Chaos feels more scripted to whatever fiction you're playing as or faction you're playing as. The others are all more open to how you want to play them. Good argument. but still probably wrong. Clash with Doom. 3 questions. Will you try TI for Prophecy of Kings? Second, which MH would you like to see on Kingdom Death? MH. I don't know what MH is. I'm missing something very obvious there. Will I try Prophecies of Kings? Yes. I'm hoping to visit Space Cats Peace Turtles sometime soon to do some content with them. And at that point, I will for sure try it. Do you ever make your way down to Nashville? I make my way through Nashville from time to time, so possible. Gaming table recommendations. Big old folding table, wool blanket. There you go. If you're going to save up and you have the money to justify it, Wormwood makes the best stuff in our industry, but they also make the most expensive stuff in our industry. So give and take there. Board games in a minute. What? Fort is getting an expansion? Well, before you play, board games in a minute. Is it? That's news to me. Board games in a minute. Someone asked about it. If it won't fit into the box. Clash with Doom. Third question. Do you think that Monster Hunter MH is close to Kingdom Death? I'd have to go read more. Jan knows this one. Jan is a fan of the series. Jan knows this one better than I do. He genuinely thinks it's going to be a lot of fun. I am skeptical of anything that is trying to do the big boss battler in a campaign or progression style thing. So I just can't answer without digging in enough to really know. The Rabbit Fly. I have only played Birmingham, but my understanding was that it was more streamlined, but because of beer, it also has more interaction. Sure, accurate. Maybe Birmingham's the one he likes more. I don't know. Let's see here. Corey asked about Jan's Etherfield's impressions. So this is becoming a Q&A for my co-host as well. Board games in a minute. Yay, I would love to be on the weekly Quack. Well, you're formally invited. Leisure Lay Minis. Do you think you will attempt to get everything for Kingdom Death again? I at one point owned all of the collectible stuff. Will I ever attempt to do that again? No. I mean, I was going through a dark phase in my life when I attempted to do that. And so I don't, I have too much other stuff going on that requires my money at this point, running this show, right? Trying to get this permanent. But will I get all of the content for it? Yeah, I'm going to have all the game content, whatever they put out. And hopefully at some point I'll actually play it all. Let's see here. At Jan, feel free to boot Jesse out of the podcast and get some ladies in there. Fair enough. I mean, look, I'm charming, but not that charming. Successful Geek. I'm all for hearing Board Games in a Minute being on more podcasts. Look, we've recorded another Played It Once. She's gonna come. I know. She's significantly the favorite out of our coalition. I'm totally okay with that. And if she replaces me one of these days, I had it coming to me. Let's be honest. Pathos. I'm a bookkeeping professional trying to jump into the tabletop scene. Do you believe that there is a need for somebody like me in the scene? Also, Q for Board Game Co. I'm a bookkeeping professional trying to jump into the tabletop scene. I don't know what a bookkeeping professional is. Explain. Jimmy, why are you no longer a Christian? Somebody had to ask, right? Okay. I'm not going to go too thoroughly into this. We can have a much more personal theological discussion at some point down the road. Again, this falls into that thing where like first date conversations, religion, politics, stuff like that, I think are really hard to have in a format like this because the way that we're translating is not only through our own lenses as I'm talking and translating language that I know how to use and you're receiving it through the language that you know how to interpret, but also there's 70 other people receiving it and we're translating through a digital space, which makes that significantly more and more complicated. I used religion to get over some very hard moments in my life, specifically my mother's death from cancer and moving and traveling quite a bit. So my mother passed away from stage 4 breast cancer when I was like 11, 12, around there. And so we switched schools a lot. We moved homes. Dad remarried for a period of time. And as I became a teenager who was as boisterous and confident, but also deeply insecure with myself, as a lot of teenagers are, I used religion as a narcotic to soothe and provide solutions and answers for all of the things I didn't understand. how to deal with death, what the point and meaning of life was, if there was hope or meaning anywhere, and also where I found community and home and people. In a similar way, probably to how I approach the board game space, right? I am obsessively in love with you all. And so I did that. I did that with religion. And I am a very all or nothing type of person. And so there was a point where I was going to 3 or 4 churches a week, reading and studying theology, working to work in the ministry to some degree, and heavily diving into not only theological study but also self-testing and studying historical Christianity as much as I could, because my policy was that if as the Bible says, Scripture is infallible. It's written by man, but divine by the Holy Spirit, interpreted by the Holy Spirit. And that means that if Scripture is infallible and it's interpreted through the Holy Spirit, then historical Christianity that has the most influence of humans spending time dissecting and parsing and learning what it actually means would be the most accurate version of it. And so I got to a really hard part in that study of faith and religion, when it came to the way that the communities, the churches that I was a part of, were dealing with the LGBT community. And so there was a point where I really struggled with the concept of if you're born a certain way that the Bible says is a sin, and it's equivalent to any other sin, but equivalent enough that the Baptist churches and stuff that I grew up in, even some of the Methodist churches that I grew up in, and historical Christianity says that is a sin that is equal to any sin, but deep enough that it is damnable. Right? You're able to go to hell based off of that if you're not repentant and don't live a life of repentance. That becomes a real problem for me if it is a thing that is biological and ingrained and innate and just a thing that you are, and you're trying to determine when you're looking at whether or not God is designing someone who is biologically designed, where the only solution the Bible gives them is to not be in a committed and loving relationship. And that becomes an issue when you look at the way that the church in Scripture structures those type of relationships, right? It describes the Holy Spirit, the Father, the Son, as the body and the relationship that we should be modeling, right? So the church being the bride, and the Son and God kind of being in that marriage pact, right? It is also described throughout, Corinthians, when they're talking about what love is and how it operates. It heavily focuses on that marriage pact and the relationship that you can have with someone. And so for me, the theological debate that ended up breaking me, and I'm not interested in having this debate. I'm trying to describe what the pressure point was for me. The theological debate that ended up breaking me was determining that historical Christianity did not fairly address the issue of the LGBT community. And if that is a biological thing, if that is a thing that you are, then the answer that historical Christianity gave me was unacceptable. For a good God to create a biological being that doesn't match up with the principles and the way that it describes love. If the pinnacle of love and the pinnacle of relationship, the thing that you model your religion off of, is this marriage pact, and then you're telling someone they can't have that, I didn't understand how that was possible. And so then you get into the arguments of predestination. And so you look at the Baptist answer for that, and you start digging into the fact that, like, if does the God of, does the Baptist God know where we're all going from the beginning? And if so, and I understand the other theological arguments around this. It's not a theological debate that I'm trying to have. I'm just trying to explain that's the position I was in when I was about 18. And as someone who had used religion as a drug, that broke me. I spent about 8 months just completely restructuring and falling apart, to the point where people thought I dropped out of college because I just disappeared. And so from that point on, I was really hurt. I was really, really hurt. I felt like I'd been manipulated and betrayed by the church and the people, the community that I was in. And so yeah. And so now I'm at a point where I believe there's meaning. I believe there's purpose. I believe in loving people. I live as if God is real. I just don't know who it is or who he is or who she is, or I just don't know, you know. And I'm okay. It's weird for me to be okay not knowing. Um, but I've determined that I am. I've determined that at the moment, in whatever journey life has for me, I'm okay loving people and believing in people and investing in communities and doing what I can to impart the most good into the space that I can, into whatever environment I'm in. And um, if if not knowing right now is enough to damn me, then my theory when I was 18 and started restructuring my brain, because that theological debate I was just talking about, that theory is probably proven right then. So that's I. There's so much more of a story there that I need to parse and talk about. Where was I? Oh, good lord. Let's see here. Someone had to ask it. That is fair. Someone did have to ask it. And if anyone wants to have a deeper conversation with me, please know that I fully recognize how inadequate of a conversation I can have here. Not only because I'm thinking on my feet and trying to um, boil down a story into something where it shouldn't probably be boiled down into, but also because uh, because I think they're worthwhile conversations to have. And I remember how alone I felt when I was going through them. And so I don't have answers for anyone. I don't pretend to have answers for myself. Um, but I would like I would like to help people. I wouldn't like to hurt people. And so the conversation's a complicated one on both sides of the aisle. And so that's it. I don't know. All right. I have to scroll back up because I was just about to read a comment and then it went forward. Okay, here we go. We've been going for almost 2 hours. I think this is an okay live stream. We've kept people around. I don't know if they're actually watching, but we've kept people. Matt Fabian, gotta go. You're doing great, but hope you cut it off at a reasonable time. If you're reading this live, you may have gone too. Okay. Didn't say you were driving to Florida tonight. I am driving to Florida tonight. I'll probably leave between 8 and 10, so another 2 or 3 hours. We've got time. Isaac Villa, hey, quack quack. Hello, Isaac. Board games in a minute. Oh wow, Philip DeFranco. I used to watch that every day a long time ago. I'll need to check out his channel again. It's become a little too pop culturally for me. I still tune in maybe once or twice a week, but it is a little bit more pop culture than I am. Mason, love Jordan Peterson. Happy to hear you're committed to bettering yourself. Not an easy journey, but a much needed one. Just want to encourage you to keep it up, my man. Thank you. I am. And I'm doing so purposefully, and I'm really excited about the future that I will be. Right, like whoever I am in like 5 years, that guy is going to be so cool. So good to know. Let's do it. My baldness is ready to be beautiful. Jan, your baldness is ready to be beautiful. Esteban, favorite root faction combination. Favorite combination to play. Right now, off the top of my head, if I was going to play a root game tonight, I got to choose everything that people are playing. I'm putting 2 Vagabonds in. I'm having the Corvid. I'm having the Moles. And I'm having the Corvid. I'm having the Otters. That's going to be the mix that I'm doing. I don't think mathematically that'll work, but I'm going to stand by it. Gosh darn it. I think that'd be fun to play. Or I actually want to do a scenario that has the cats, the birds, the moles, maybe the lizards. I want all of the coin factions on the board at the same time. Love alliterations. Glorious Goose. I like that. David Rimbark. How many tattoos do you have? I have one. I have one tattoo. It just happens to cover 20% of my body. Joshua, do you miss speaking to people in the same room as you? Yes, desperately. I'm a madman just sitting in here talking to myself for 2 hours. Bill, the connection's so different. Like, this is cool because I am connecting with you, and I know but for my side of things, this is very much like I'm sitting in a room talking to myself. So cool. It's still fun. I just don't fully believe that there's 70 other people on the back end of this watching and a couple hundred that are going to tune in afterwards. Bill, When will you tie Alex to a chair and make him play Kingdom Death? His first experience with Kingdom Death will be with me and will be on the channel. Paul, great channel. I like the dynamic you have with Alex. I do too. Really enjoyed your playthrough of Wonderland's War. You have quite the extensive wardrobe and style. Thank you. Although right now it's very, lackadaisical. I love wearing ties and shirts and dressing nice. The problem is you have to then take care of them and put them back on and wash them at the dry cleaners. And I don't love doing that. So, it's a give and take. How often are you able to play games? Oh, and also the other reason why I started wearing the suit and tie is because this, the longer and more scraggly that gets, the more I have to accommodate how horrible I look compared to the clothing that I'm wearing. David, how often are you able to play games before you make a review/video most times? Most times, review is different from video. If we're doing a gameplay video, usually most times it'd be like a practice round, hopefully a session on my own, and then we're sitting down to film because I only have people over to my house about once a week to actually film. So it's very hard right now, especially given the state of things, to play things a ton before we give our first impressions. But we always try to give as much information as we can before, so that you can be an accurate judge of if the game's going to be right or wrong for you. A review, I'd like to play a game maybe 5 times. At 5, I'd feel very comfortable stating the game. A few different player counts. That'd probably be the minimum for a full in-depth review. Let's see here. First impressions are different, but I think they're also valuable. Angelo, have you considered playing fan factions for Root? I have considered it. I'd like to do it. It's just a time thing. It's hard to get everything scheduled. Stembro, very good insight into how we can only really impact those close to us in our lives, and we should focus on them. Really believe it. This year has reinforced it almost more than, there's a few things that this year has reinforced very heavily into principles that I believe. I believe there's a lot of things I don't know if I fully believe, but I do believe in that you can only truly have an impact on the world by focusing on those that are immediately around you and really caring about them. And not only is that where you can have an impact, but it's also where you'll have the greatest impact. And then I also believe in not being malicious. You can hurt people by accident. You can make mistakes. You can, but do not ever act in a malicious fashion. That's my stance. Things that I have slowly ingrained into myself. Please do a big Oath campaign. Once we get a prototype, we're going to do as much Oath content as we can because it is one of the most popular videos on our channel. What was your former job/career? I've been a freelancer for 8 years. My last job that I had that wasn't for my college paper was at Panera. So I've worked for myself for about as long as I've been an adult. As an event photographer, videographer, same skill set that I'm utilizing now. Sarah Whitman. Please keep the beard after No Shave November. Right now, the plan is actually to keep it. I have enough people saying to hold on to it. So for now, we're just going to keep growing it. It's working out, I think. Let's see here. Stenbro, do you guys ever make fun of Sarah for her lack of smiling in her videos? Does she not smile? I don't think she has time to smile. First off, I'll have to pay more attention to that. Second off, I don't know that that's a fair criticism. Will I make fun of her for flinging components around and speaking as fast as the Dickens? Absolutely. Not smiling? I'm not sure she has time for it. I'm going to be honest. Maybe the reason my videos are so long is because I spend too much time with this on my face. Her videos are incredible. We'll make fun of her for other things. Brandon, is Warhammer 400,000, 40,000 something you've ever looked into, and would you ever consider on the channel? I cannot play a miniatures war game. I have demoed it once, and I did think it was fun. I think the models are very cool. I think it is vastly too big and expensive for me to ever get into. It's a lifestyle game. Vault Tech, best dungeon crawlers or just miniatures games in general that are best for solo or duo play. KDM looks great, but it's very pricey for a hit or miss experience. Kingdom Death, Madara. It's not a miniatures game, but Aeon's Trespass, solo and duo. Tainted Grail. I think Etherfield's probably going to stand up there, but I need to play it more to know for sure. More solo duo experiences. There's a lot that I'm really excited for that I don't currently have in my collection. The little classic box of Seventh Continent for a solo experience. Again, not a miniatures game, but there's a lot that operate in that idea really well. Board games in a minute. Are you allergic to cats? I'm not allergic to anything that I know about. Jay, what out of print game do you think should get reprinted? Russian Railroads, Cave Evil, and Dogs of War, hands down. Heavenly Touch, did he answer what is his favorite Awakened Realms game? Currently Tainted Grail. Yes, Tainted Grail. Stimbro, I came to believe in God after more than 3 decades of life as an atheist. Other speakers that influenced me besides Ravi are William Craig, Frank Tariq, many others. Take your time exploring. I'm just now getting to the point where I can have a conversation like I just did about it. The losing religion that I'd leaned on so heavily is probably the most traumatic experience of my life. That's saying a lot, right? That left me with many years where I couldn't talk about it. I can now talk about it. And so I can now have a conversation and I can begin exploring and understanding and understanding the value that it plays without necessarily having to believe everything immediately that it teaches. Just a sandwich. How is your molar doing? I got one pulled. So, I mean, you can't see it. I got that one pulled because it broke. So significantly better. I should be getting an implant hopefully soon. Kentucky teeth. What are you going to do? Well, apparently get them pulled and put implants in. That's the answer. Man, just the way you explain and describe things, such as why you don't like speaking on religion and politics online. It's not only poetic, but very descriptive and absolutely soothing effect. I'm glad it has that. Cool. I'm a bookkeeper for a small business. I keep track of assets, liabilities, and expenses, as well as reconcile bank accounts and depreciate assets on a month-to-month basis. Well, then, contact Quackalope in 5 years when I'm ready to be a professional. Very cool. I think absolutely there's businesses that could utilize your skill set. I, however, think you'd be best utilized at some of the bigger projects where they're getting millions or they're getting millions in and have to manage that money responsibly over a given period of time to make sure that they are doing justice to their backers. So do I think there's a spot for you? Yeah, of course, but it might take time to find that. And I'd focus on building relationships first. Cat or dog person, dog person. I mean, you've seen my personality. I am the type of person that wants to come home and have something like wagging and waiting for you when you arrive and then runs up to you and cuddles with you and licks you all over like, I am a dog. I'm not even a dog person. In relationships, I'm a dog. Like I just always want to be with you and cuddling and hanging out and holding hands and going on adventures and taking me on car rides. And like, yeah, that's just me. My ex was every part of a cat, wanted to sit in the same room, but not interact with you at all, unless it was their decision, right? Keep in mind, though, my man, that ingrained sin is equivalent to all other sins, just like you said. So whether it is ingrained or not, we all sin, but there is redemption through Jesus for all sinners. I do understand that, Mason. We can have a deeper conversation outside of this forum, because I do think that any deeper conversation beyond what I've talked about is probably a degree irresponsible. Someone unliked the video. We just went down to 59. We were at 60 likes. Well, first off, I'm sorry that I've disappointed you. Second off, someone else liked there. It's 61. There we are. I just noticed that. I was like, well, that's disappointing. They must have got to the part where I talked about religion. So Mason, if you want to have a conversation, we can have a deeper conversation. But yes, sin is sin. It is not deeper or more extensive or more awful. It is that the context of that sin, given my understanding of Christianity at the time, and my understanding of uh, uh, predestination, and determinism and stuff like that. That combination of things is what led to me falling out. Right. It does not mean that I was right. It certainly I certainly wouldn't claim that I was. The best that I'm trying to do is describe where I was when I had an experience that hurt me badly. Not convince anyone else that my experience is the right one to go on, or is the correct answer, or will lead to the right or the consistent result. Um, so, James, thank you for being vocal about this. It helps. Mason, cool to hear your point of view. Thanks, guys, for being so. Yeah. Nat Nell, thank you for sharing your story about your facing with religion. Okay. David, okay, we're going up. Simply said, religion is a very old idea and basically a good one, which didn't evolve to modern thing. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know. I think religion is a way that we. Uh, I think religion is a way that we answer things that bother us the most. So, Clash with Doom. Would you like to see one new monster per year for Kingdom Death, or do not kick the? Would you like would you like to see one new monster per year for Kingdom Death, or do not kick the dead horse? I'd like to continue seeing vignettes the way that they did. That'd be very cool. Dan answered for me, but above all, there is grace. Good you openly share, though. Thanks, Dan. Mason, it's an old idea, but lots of our principles today in the modern age are based off of that idea. I don't know that it's a bad one for humans either. You know, Rob of the Dead. Have you ever considered designing or building your own board game? You have You have an impeccable gift for storytelling. Combine that with your years of experience in gaming. I think you could pull it off. One day that'd be the dream, right? Wouldn't that be so cool to have a board game that's all about ducks, or well, maybe not just all about ducks, right? Right now, I think the next step for us is to continue building community, continue playing games, getting our knowledge base up. We have been offered the chance to assist as developers, and I'm of course writing flavor text professionally for some people. And so, are we on that pathway? I think so. But when we do it, we'll do it right. Stenbro, which movie genre would you rather watch without knowing the specific movie ahead of time? Action, thriller, romance, comedy, drama, period piece, sports, war, animated. War or period piece. Comedy, I think you can stumble into really, really awful movies. Action thrillers, okay, if I'm in the mood. A rom-com, if I'm in a relationship, sure, why not? That could be fun. But a period piece or war would be what I'd watch at the moment. Sorry if this was already asked, but knowing you're such a huge fan of Kingdom Death, do you have any tips into getting getting info about the possible Black Friday sale this year? All I can find about is info from last year. You won't know till it's posted. Go to the White Speaker Patreon. It is a app that I suggested and someone else developed. They did an excellent job, and back them. White Speaker will, the moment the store is updated, give you a call, letting you purchase things as quickly as possible. It's what I do, because I used to be the person that would spend all night Black Friday waiting for that update. Tyler, I just wanted to say you're my favorite board game channel. Your taste is similar to mine. I'm glad you found out my taste is similar to yours. That's exciting. It's going to cost you a lot of money. I'm so sorry about that. Please stop liking the games I like. This is a bad combination. He is back to a 1 hour delay. Oh well, have to go. We'll watch the entire Q&A. We watching. I mean, we're still holding pretty. We're 2 hours in, and we still have 60 people that are watching. I'm not upset with that. Any chance you could meet up with the Dice Tower crew? I'm sure Tom Vass would love to talk to you about your faith and beliefs, and you can make awesome board game content. Tom and I have talked. We're hoping to hang out at some point down the road. I would absolutely. I've met with Sam Healy, who's not with them anymore, but a friend and part of that community. I would love to collaborate with anyone and everyone we can. That is fully my intention. And so, if the opportunity arises, yeah, of course. Lewis, Hi from Mexico. You should come down to Mexico, do some content here as well. Would absolutely let you crash at my place, Lewis. Uh, I'm on the way. No, really. I mean, I'd love to visit Mexico as well. I'd love to visit all of these places. If any of you are like, come stay with me, play board games, make content, visit an incredible place, I want to go. Please just know that initially. I'd love to go. I'm listening to this while playing Shriko. Your voice and the way you talk is amazing and keeping me calm instead of panicking for the soft games you usually give me. Well, I'm glad. I am glad I am a calming influence on your life. Let's go insane. Let's go insane. Are you hyped for the new turtle and rats in Root? Are there new turtles and rats in Roots? Because they're not ducks. If that's the case, cool. I mean, turtles would be very cool. Esteban, that would be epic. All the big factions in Root would be crazy, right? I want to do a gameplay video of that. As for the questions from Kingdom Day of Wave 4 upcoming expansions, which is the one that you're more excited about? I want to fight the king. Wave 4 is fine. It's so far away, I don't even pay attention to it at this point. I mean, there's like the Black Knight, stuff like that. I mean, Progdog, like they all look really good, but I want the Gambler's Chest to arrive, even though it's already 2 years late. I want to fight the king so bad. That's the storyline we've been missing for way too long, right? Just explaining that. David, this is amazingly awesome. Love your content, and the Q&A is super interesting. Greetings from Germany. Glad to have you here from Germany. Again, I'm always so impressed and excited with how big and diverse this community is when it comes to the regions of the world. It's so cool that so many people from all over the world are tuning in and taking part in this games. Find community in it. Mason, how excited are you for Oath? Really? I mean, we did 3 games of it. Yes. Although I don't know where it is right now. I've heard it's really good after development, but it's changed a lot. I'm gonna have a lot to learn. Tyler, what is your harshest criticisms of KDM gameplay? It's way too finicky. It's horribly finicky. In fact, miserable to play. Esteban, which has been the best board game of the year for you so far? Oh, Frostpunk would have been my initial answer. Townsfolk Tussle will be my initial answer. Those, however, are 2 that are Kickstarters, so the public don't have a chance to play them. Favorite board game that I've actually sat down and played of the year so far. I've played a lot. Favorite of the year. I loved Oath. We had some really, really good experiences with Oath, and that was at the beginning of the year. Spire's End. That was fulfilling to have that hit our table. A lot of good ones. Those are the 2 that come to mind in terms of physical things I've played this year. Lost Ruins of Arnok was really fun, and I love that mechanic system. I think I like Endless Winter slightly more, but Endless Winter isn't available right now, so you have a year and a half to play Lost Ruins of Arnok before you get into Endless Winter. So there you go. Board games in a minute. It's true. I don't have time to smile. It's true. She doesn't have any time to smile at all. That's the problem. Whenever I mimic her and do a 1-minute video, I'm going to end up smiling, and you count the seconds. That's where I'll lose all of my time. Just a girl who games. Have you had a chance to play Etherfields yet? We have. I have answered this a little bit earlier. We have content coming out on the channel, hopefully a full review, certainly gameplay. Jan is currently diving into it more than I am. I've only played the tutorial, and I thought it took longer to get up and running than I was hoping. Right? I didn't think that tutorial, that prologue, did enough to impress you with the game. I think it taught you the game. So I'm really excited to see some of the later game content a few hours into it. Liked it back up. Thank you so much. The support to like the channel back up when we lost one was really fun to see. That's how I knew people were here. I'm talking to myself in a room, but then I made a comment and it responded, which is really cool. Favorite sports and sports teams. I'm not a sports, surprisingly enough. I mean, look at me. You'd think I would be. I'm not. I like soccer. I like going to baseball games. I like going to any games. I like the experience of sports. I am from Kentucky, so I have to be a UK fan. I also like the Reds from Cincinnati, because my dad would always take me there to go to games with him. But I like the experience of sports more than actually tracking any of them. Ricardo, what is your candid opinion on the upcoming Darkest Dungeon board game? I think it is going to be good, but it's going to be good within the context of like we said on all of our channels, like we said on all of our content. My biggest criticism of it is it has a lot of token and chip management. It has a lot of miniature management. There are so many special abilities and cards and things that you're dealing with that it'll probably be 1 to 2 players, but you need to be the type of gamer that is ready for a lot of following along and min-maxing. Just like the video game is, though. I think it does the video game on a table justice in terms of translating that into a tabletop space. Do I want to see some more experimentation with the IP down the road and stuff? I would love to. But for now, I think the people that love the video game, that got it knowing that it was going to be a heavier dungeon crawl, I think they're going to really enjoy it. And I think the miniature is going to be absolutely beautiful. Board Game Co. Just to be clear, why are you going for 2 hours? I can't even watch now. I'm going to have to watch this all later. Always trying to outdo me. I'm just answering the questions. I didn't have a time frame planned. I planned to answer questions, and people keep posting. I don't know. Am I supposed to get on and say I'm only doing an hour? I mean, I'd be here for another 3 or 4 if I had to be, I guess. Board games in a minute. Poor Alex. He should probably end soon and hit the road. I mean, I should, but I'm talking to people. I can't leave people. There's questions here. I'm getting close to the end, though. Board Game Co. I'm home already, just trying to work and can't do both. That's fair. I mean, but you're going to be wasting time on me sooner or later anyway. So, Successful Geek. He always goes long. His 5-minute videos are minimum of 15 minutes. That's true. Board games in a minute. Same, actually. Laugh out loud. I will need to end this soon too, but probably finish watching it later. So it's all my friends that are leaving. That's why the numbers keep going down. Chris, what it do, Jesse? Raija. Did you ever play Machina Arcana? What did you think of it? If it's the case, I actually haven't had a chance to play it. We got our copy in about a week before the Kickstarter, and then life went absolutely insane with me, booking a few extra contracts and hitting the road. And so I have content that's coming out on it soon, and I'm excited to dig into it, but I haven't had a chance to sit down and play it. It is a heavier rules teach than One Plague deserves. Board games in a minute. I like turtles. I also like turtles. One of my favorite D&D characters of all time was a turtle, which is a humanoid turtle. Well, sort of like that's, it's and I named him Thule, and I love that name, and I love that turtle. And in fact, whenever I play D&D again, I'm going to be playing a turtle monk named Thule. Tyler Miller, when is there going to be more Root games? Sometime soon, I hope. Seiko, as in Seagro, basically a shinobi version of Dark Souls. Cool. Sounds cool. Tyler Miller, 6-player game. I don't know how to record 6 people. Stenbro, when you heard about Jordan Peterson, did you start bringing on his videos? Do you agree with his take on postmodernism? I don't know the definition of that term enough to know if I fully agree with his take on postmodernism. I have watched a lot of content on Jordan Peterson, and I highly respect the way that he approaches and thinks about the world. I rebuilt a lot of who I am off of his book, 12 Rules for Life. I've listened to the audiobook multiple times, and I really like how thoughtful and purposeful he is in engaging and debating in ideas. And I haven't heard a lot of things that I've disagreed with him on. But I don't know the definition of postmodernism enough to know the context of the conversation. And I also think it's a much deeper conversation than I can effectively have in a one-sided format like this. Francis, hey man, I was late. I just want to say that you're a great inspiration. Hugs from Brazil. I wish I could have hugs. I'd love some hugs. Creaky Gate. Warmest greetings from a chilly England, but it's 1 a.m. and bed is calling. I hope you're sleeping well. Tyler Montreux. So when you first started the channel, what made you choose board games, and what would you say your original pitch for the channel had been? I chose board games because board games is what I like. It was the community that I had. I started the channel after a pretty big breakup. A 6.5-year long relationship came to an end, and I spent 8 months rebuilding myself and listening to a lot of stuff. And that's where Jordan Peterson came into play. I was listening to his stuff predominantly on relationship and advice and the idea of finding something heavy, finding a challenge that you can face and picking it up. That's where a lot of the inspiration that I had came from. And so when it comes to why I started it, it was because it was the only place I still had a community after such a big breakup. And so this is exactly why I started it. I mean, people are a lot of people like are impressed with the community we have and say that the Discord's really cool and like our fan base is awesome and you all really are. But I don't think what a lot of people get is like this is a space that I've built because I desperately needed it. I'm madly and intrinsically in love with you all, and so I don't know because I really needed this, so I've made it. Um, let's see here. And what was my first initial pitch? I wanted to bring in the highest quality, aggressively high quality video content into the board game space, which I think we're doing and we're learning how to do. I think there's room for audio and video and visuals and storytelling to be improved. And so that was the hope. The reason I ask about postmodernism is because it seems like religion is a touchy subject because it necessarily says that certain things / people are doing it wrong. Again, I don't have enough context of that definition to really dig into this with you. I wish I did, and I could answer more accurately. Um, it's yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to dig into it at some point. It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to talk about. How was the experience with the Quackalope being added to Townsfolk Tussle? I was super honored and excited they decided to do that. I did not know that was happening, and when they started sending over drawings and stuff, it blows my mind to be in board games. I spend so much personal time and joy and energy. Like one of the things I never conceptualized when we started building Quackalope was that I could have this thing impact board games, like a little piece of us, of what this community has made, could be in a game. And so like it's super exciting for me because I'm in love with Quackalope and thrilled about it being there. But it's largely when I see Quackalopes in game, it's a representation of what we've done. Like this community, you all that are sitting here watching me talk for 2.5 hours, you're the reason that's in that game. That's a celebration of us. And so I hope that you all are as excited to see things like that happen as I am, because it really is thrilling. Assuming that there's no pandemic going on, is the idea of a cruise ship vacation appealing to you? Not really. Not really. I'd go on one. I'm interested. I've never been, but it just doesn't seem great. Greetings from TGB. Hello, TGB or TBG. TBG. Philip or Philippe. Philippe. Quack. Keep it quacking for hours. We love it. I'm going. Successful geek. Okay, love you, bro. I have to go myself. Drive safe. Thanks, buddy. Brandon. Hey. Did you ever get a chance to play Oathsworn? Curious on your thoughts. I have not played Oathsworn. I would like a copy of Oathsworn. Spam them, telling them to send Quackalope a copy because I would like to. Ricardo, how heavy or fiddly is Darkest Dungeon when compared to Gloomhaven, for example, as far as dungeon crawlers go? I think Darkest is slightly more fiddly than Gloomhaven. I would probably be able to run Gloomhaven. I would probably be able to run Gloomhaven with 4 players, but slowly, and I would use the app to help supplement that. Darkest currently doesn't have an app that helps supplement that. I think there's a lot going on. I really do. But I think if you go into it knowing that, you will be primed to enjoy it. I think if you go into it thinking it's just going to be a romp like Massive Darkness 2, for instance, I think that's where it's positioning itself to be slightly more disappointing. Board Games in a Minute says, Tyler Montanero. How would you teach a new game to a group? With a flavor text, of course. Natnell Apfel. My current D&D character is the elderly turtle bard who is always saying, "Did I ever tell you the story about?" And then I abib something insane. There's a message that was flagged for review, and I clicked on it to see it. Let's see. I don't know what it says. It's in a different language. So, Cruel, I'm not sure what you've written. Chris, what is the first board game you fell in love with? Catan with my family. Or if you count card games as board games, which I merge everything in the gaming library together. Oh no, Risk. Back in the day, I loved Risk. I was the kid that wanted to spend 17 hours playing Risk with friends and family. I've always loved games, but Head and Foot and Spoons in my household were classics. Board games in a minute. All of these cute D&D turtles. Absolutely. Pathos. The Goose Should Have Jan only segment called Only Jans. I like that. Just a girl with games. Just want to say that I adore your content and really enjoy the channel, Patreon posts, and podcasts. I always look forward to checking out what's new when I get off work. It's really cool. I'm glad we can be that community for you. Let us know how we continue being it. Josha, good night, darling. Miss your brilliance. Continue to burn like the firelight in all of our hearts. I am more charmed by your compliments than you could ever guess. And hopefully you'll see that at some point when you come back to check how I respond. Just a girl who games. Though I can't say your content has been good for my bank account. Board Game Co. and I are going to work on some like budgetary conversations and things coming soon because we realize we're not. I want to be responsible. I want to be informative and encourage you to find games that you love, but also be responsible in the fact that I am encouraging you and showing off way too much for anyone to buy. So it's a problem. It's a problem that I'm paying attention to. Creaky Gate. Watch Richard Granson's channel for an interesting view about the world and the people in it and how to deal with the crap that life throws at you. Very cool. I love suggestions. I love getting perspectives and seeing the world through other people's experiences. And so I'll look it up. And dig in a little bit. Rob of the Dead. Just wanted to thank you for confirming my decision to back Kapow. I will mirror Max's sentiment that Dice Forge was my introduction to the dice building games. I honestly think the concept is brilliant. Cool. I'm glad we could show it off. I've really liked Kapow. I think it's more advanced. It's the reason why I probably don't need Dice Thrones anymore. Rob of the Dead. I would love to see a gameplay video soon and hear your thoughts and feedback on it. I think you're going to enjoy it. Rio puts hearts, all the hearts. Warner. Only thing I want is to have Alex as your opposing in Townsfolk Tussle. I would have been incredible. So this isn't official, but you can say it's official and treat it as such. In the expansion, whenever the expansion comes, Jan, I, and Alex have all been given permission to design, as far as I know, to design a monster that is the Quackalope. Because right now, scaling a brand new game designs, like scaling it, would have been very irresponsible. It's good that they didn't try to do that. But for the expansion, we're hoping to have a official Quackalope creature and a Radcliffe townsfolk to face off against us. I'm hoping they let us play in their IP to that degree. If they do, I promise we'll make it right. We'll do it justice. Tyler, have you backed something that later didn't live up to expectations? If so, what was it and what was the problem? Sure. Bargain Quest I didn't like. I still haven't opened up the Ludus Magnus game, the Dungeon Academy or something like that. The school one. Haven't bothered. I mean, there's a lot of games. There's a lot of games that haven't lived up to expectations. I'll be honest. But all predominantly before Quackalope. I kind of know what we're getting into at this point, and I do a lot more due diligence. I backed a lot of stuff back in the day because the artwork was beautiful, or the story was cool, or I was just excited and built off the hype. Blood on the Clock Tower is one that like I really wanted to back because Shut Up and Sit Down promised me it was going to be amazing, and we actually got a print and play version of it, and I'm glad I didn't back it. Like Jan and I played 3 sessions of it, and it wasn't the game for us. So it's a very fun game for the DM to run. Blood on the Clock Tower is a very aggressively selfish game. It doesn't mean it's bad, no, and will party gamers love it? I think so, but it is a very selfish game. The best experience for Blood on the Clock Tower is being the DM with all the information. By the way, I'm going to keep going, but I am getting closer to the end. So if there's, out of the 56 people who are still watching, if there are questions you want to ask or thumbs ups you want to give, do that. Because when I get to that last thing, I am going to hit that end stream button and skedaddle. Challenge acquired, approached, accepted. Let's see here. Stembro, you love reading/writing game lore. If you could have the financial time and freedom to write fiction, what genre and what kind of story would you write? I would write post-apocalyptic, either low or high fantasy. It's probably my favorite area to explore. David Rimbark. I love all the videos you do with Max and Sean. It's great. It's a great dynamic with both of them. Can't wait for more videos with them. For how long do you know them? I met them this summer because I needed people to play games with on Quackalope. Michael, love the beard. Thanks, buddy. Love you. Brandon, follow up on the Oathsworn question. Were you able to play Aeon's Trespass Odyssey? No. I also would like to play that. Spam them with quacks, telling them they should send me a copy of their game. I'd be happy to feature it on the channel. Creaky Gate. Wish I lived rather near to you. I'd call in, play a few games, click a few beers, and put the world to rights. Sounds like a good time. Whenever we see each other at conventions, remind me, and we'll do just that. Board game in a minute. Yes, Ketan. That was my gateway into the world of board gaming. And for that reason, I will always have a soft spot for it. Catan. I even got Catan wrong. Cruel Judgment. Sorry for the Portuguese comment, Quackalope. I was trying to contact the other Brazilian in live. Cheers, by the way. I'm sorry that it flagged you. Look at YouTube not understanding Portuguese. How rude of them. What are you going to play during Christmas? I don't know what I'm doing during Christmas. I originally was going to be traveling back to Puerto Rico with Jan, but due to current restrictions and some of his family members being a little bit more vulnerable, I think he's going back, and I think I'm staying in the States. So I'm really not sure. My family's not going to be around for Christmas. I'm not going to be with my grandparents. So I'll be playing some solo games for Christmas, or do a Christmas live stream with all the people who aren't with people. That actually sounds like a fun idea. Maybe we should do like a channel live stream. Where I just play solo games all day and get drunk. Casey, bourbon. I'd love more plays of the good games you love. Carnival of Monsters were a refreshing look away from Kickstarter stuff. Yeah, so Casey, our object for the channel is not to be a Kickstarter only or Kickstarter predominantly channel. Throughout October, we just had way more demand than I could handle. And as a solo creator, it can become very trying to keep up with both the call to the new, the stuff that gets views, the things I genuinely want to dig into and play, and dip back into the old classics that we enjoy. So that is that a priority, and are we more and more focused on it the more I'm able to legitimize and make this a full-time thing? Absolutely. It is just always a balance. The bigger we grow, the more demand we have, the harder it is to find that balance. So we're getting there. Is Catan still on print? It absolutely is. It is a great little entry-level game, but typically only fun for two people who are playing it because everyone else loses and knows they've lost about halfway through the game. Brandon Goodwin, do you like Kapow Volume 1 or Volume 2 more as far as characters go? Volume 2 is more advanced. I've only played some of the characters. I like Volume 2 more because I think White Wizard Games, getting their development hands on it and playing with it a bit more, are going to deliver on what I like the most about it, which is that it is a more tactically advanced and thematic dice roller and dice builder. So I'm excited for Volume 2. I want a full production copy of it. Esteban, I want to get it because I've been relying on a friend to play it. I'm not sure what we're referencing. Maybe Catan. Do it. Try it out. It's worth trying out. Not the best game ever. It's a family level game. Leisurely Minis. Oh man, Townsfolk Tussle expansion would be absolutely dope. I'm working on doing a duck themed army for the game I'm working on. That sounds like fun. Let me know. Warner, Catan will remain in print for a long time. Yeah. Sembro, thank you for being so genuine with your time, or generous with your time, and sharing very personal parts of your life with us. Not an easy thing to do, even if they were a long time ago. I like y'all more than I should, probably. Some of y'all are just terrible. I'm kidding. I mean, probably some of you are, just terrible, but the vast majority of you are wonderful human beings. We're at the point of the show now where I start picking on you. Greetings from Ireland. It's past 1 a.m. here, but I'm enjoying painting minis while listening along as well. We've had so many countries. I keep saying it, but yeah, I want to go to Ireland as well. Invite me, please. I'll paint minis with you. Love the channel. Thank you, Matthew. Tyler, what's your favorite little game? Circle the Wagons, Mint Works, or Mint Control? Probably Mint Works. Right now, it's taking the top spot for me. I played Blood on the Clock Tower at PAX Unplugged last year. It was fun, but I think it needs a good amount of people to enjoy it. but I did not back it. It is fun. It does need a good amount of people who enjoy it, and the best role in the game is the person that's running it. Which is why Shut Up and Sit Down love it, because they always ran it for their friends. Well, most of them, sometimes. And it's just their style of game, and that's okay. I don't have to agree with their style of game. Is there an upcoming game that you are looking forward to? So many upcoming games that I'm looking forward to. Is there an upcoming game that we are covering right now that I'm looking forward to? ISS Vanguard. I should have the prototype this weekend. Brandon, do you have any pocket games you'd recommend or games you'd love to bring to a date? I have brought Hive to a date before, and that went over well. Mintworks would be a great suggestion. The little any of the little games by. I want to do a full showcase of the button joy, something like that. They make Circle the Wagons and a bunch of those little pocket games, wallet-sized games. I want to do a showcase on them because I have like a vast majority of their games. Richard Granson is a fellow Brit, so I'm somewhat biased, but the guy's work saved my life when I just about given hope. I'm glad to hear that, Creaky Gate. Relatable, right? Jason, hello. Do you make your own hates? I don't. Hats. No, my girlfriend and my grandmother, or my ex-girlfriend and my grandmother made them for me. Bill, read the passage by Justin Corin, favorite post-apocalyptic vampire horror. Okay, you've got my attention. Come to Ithaca for Christmas then. Sarah, I don't know if I can drive to Ithaca. Isn't upstate New York covered in snow? Christmas live stream. I mean, thinking about it, it's not a bad idea. How are you celebrating Thanksgiving this year? Once again, I was supposed to be with some friends. I think I'm going to celebrate it by ordering Panera for takeout. None of my family is doing anything. None of them are getting together or anything. So, Tyler, favorite Euro game. Let's see how long we can make this stream. Favorite Euro game. Viticulture is fun. Russian Railroads is fun. Architects is fun. Whenever I get asked big, broad questions, I'm trying to think through like what's on my shelf that I enjoy and have played. I don't know. Just whatever we're covering at the moment. I like too much stuff. Let's see here. Creaky, I'm a relative newcomer to modern board games. Have played Carcassonne for years, but now I'm branching out, expanding my collection, and loving it. Love the real human experience of playing with friends. It really is where this industry shines. How did you get so much experience with cameras and editing to have such high quality videos? I'm trying to find some stuff, but have a hard time getting the high standard. I've been in this industry for a long time. When we hit 20,000 subscribers, I'm going to be posting a video that I did on YouTube, my first ever YouTube video when I was in college in 2013. Trust me, my production quality was not always this high. I just started making content. And so that's the biggest thing I'd say. And make content, copy people. And then when you run into a thing that you don't know how to copy effectively, Google, search, YouTube, study for that one solution, and then continue reiterating on that. Nat Nell, gonna have to bolt. It's late and I haven't had dinner yet. Have a good one, Jesse. Bye, everyone. See you, Nat. Bye, Nat. Have a good night from Board Games in a Minute. David Rimbark. Let's keep this going for hours. It's 2:30 a.m. We're getting to the end. I don't think it's going to keep going for hours. Stenbro, favorite stand-up comedian. Dave Chappelle, by far. Creaky Gate, and you're awesome. Loving your content. Thank you. And do you listen to Joe Rogan's podcasts? I do. Not all of them. I find they're too big. They're too long. This is too long. I do find the little clips and stuff really interesting. I think he's a really good conversational host. Brandon, I am not the only one painting minis right now. It's a good thing to do when you listen to something like this. Come to Germany. We'll get you through Christmas. Enough games to play. If I could fly to Germany for Christmas, I might consider it. I don't think I can, though. And food to eat. You can come to Argentina, too. Great. I'm going to Argentina, Germany, and doing a drunk live stream on Quackalope for Christmas. I have my plans set in place. I'll hang out for the rest. Going to have to be my last comment. Thanks for hanging out so long. Have a good drive home. Thank you, Leisurely Minis. Thank you for hanging out for so long. It's super cool having a conversation with you and everyone else. David, do you have something like a 5-year plan? Where do you wish to be in 5 years' time, personally and business wise? Quackalope is a 5-year plan, right? So when we first started Quackalope, we determined, or I determined, I was out of a long term relationship. I was redefining what I wanted to be, career, financial, like everything, right? And I figured out what I thought my dream job would be, which would be to like have a community and work in this industry. And I determined what the price for that would be. Uh, Spend the next 5 years of my life doing content as good as I could, consistently and constantly. And in 5 years, we'd be somewhere really cool. Well, we're already somewhere really cool, but we're only 2 years into this journey. I mean, our anniversary in January will be the 2-year anniversary of the channel. And so I still have 3 years of this. But I'm always looking forward. The reason 5 years is kind of the target is because I'll be around 32 by the end of that journey. And at that point, I really think I have to start thinking about whether or not I want to be in a serious relationship, build a family, invest in some other things, or if I want to continue focusing on career and business and travel and building what we have here, right? Yeah, right now I've got a 3-year plan that is, as it increases, slowly metamorphosing into another 5-year window. Uh, and where do I want to be in 5 years? I want to be right here, just bigger, right? And doing more things, development and collaboration, and maybe publishing and merchandise. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna be here. I really like here. Um, I really like here. Uh, Not home, wherever it is you're going. I'm going to Florida and then I'm going home. Tim D. Oh, Word as an ISS Vanguard prototype? Sweet. Can't wait for your opinion / review. Yes, prototype this weekend. We should have content out really soon. Tyler, what game would you play with someone new to modern board games? Depends on who they are. Maybe Parks. I've really liked teaching Parks to people. Wingspan as well. Not base game Everdell. Certainly not that one. Favorite comic hero? The Joker? I don't think he's a hero, though. Favorite comic hero? Spider-Man, by far. But Miles Morales is the best Spider-Man at the moment. So, Stembro, Button Shy makes the micro games like Strawlopolis. They do. Andrew would be, can you film and post a game of Root using the top 4 players with the highest reach? I'd love to. Can I? Is a different question, but I'd love to. Dr. Slouch, or Slutch. Any chance for a Kingdom Death series? We have 4 videos recorded that I just need to edit. So yes, there's a heavy chance for a Kingdom Death series. It's just a matter of executing on it correctly. Sebastian, bring bourbon. I have Scotch and I'd love to try some Scotch and Irish whiskey. Perfect. Creaky Gate. I want to buy a solo game for a 9-year-old. Any suggestions? I don't know ages well. And I don't have kids, so I don't do a lot of research into kids' games. I'd have some suggestions for cooperative family games, but a solo game for a 9-year-old. It's a good puzzle. I don't know if a lot of people cater to them, and I don't know what type. I would lean towards story. I'd also probably lean to like a choose your own adventure game, something like Spire's End that isn't mechanics or rules heavy and doesn't have a ton of overhead, but lets you go on a journey. That'd be where I'd lean. That'd be my gut instinct for what to search for. But what that is, I'm not sure. Let's see here. Table Knots. Who's this guy? Hi, Table Knots. Anyone that's still watching, Table Knots is my friend Max, who has started his own channel called Table Knots, and he's here to extend the length of this show. David, thank you for answering every single question. I like answering every single question. I might need to start earlier next time, but I think that's the reason. Shouldn't you do that with live streams? Isn't that the whole point? Is Board Game Co. not answering all the questions? How good is Root? Please tell me. Someone tell me in the comment if you watch Board Game Co.'s full live stream, did he not answer everyone's questions? Because if he didn't, we're going to have to give him quacks for that. How good is Root? Am I right? I mean, listen, it is so good. Table Knots. Here is good. Here is very good, buddy. Cranky head quack. James Mosser, thank you for your time. Appreciate yours as well. It's not just me. It's you all are giving me your time, right? There's a fair exchange of value here. In fact, I think yours might be worth more. I'm just playing board games. Stenbro, favorite movie directors and or cinematographers. If you don't know the names, list some favorite movies based on camera work and visual presentation. The video, the one that was one constant camera line. It was a war movie. It was like 1724 or 1938, or it was just a number. Warhorse is absolutely beautiful. The tanks, Fury was brilliant, brutal visually, but beautiful. The Joker movie, I mean, fantastic work on that. Absolutely fascinating stuff there. Over the Garden Wall is a series that's a favorite of mine when it comes to directing and storytelling. Yeah, those are some. Let's see. I have to scroll up again. Why do I have to scroll up again? Dr. Slotch, yay! Table Knots. Beard coming in nice, by the way. Thank you. You haven't seen me in way too long. Michael, have a great night, brother. You too, man. David, do you have a favorite artist working for board game publishers like the Micro? I mean, Kyle Farron's a genius. I'm really loving this stuff. I mean, I love the stuff that Townsfolk Tussle did. I like the stuff that's being done right now with Wes and Wes Woodbury and Terrible Games. The artist there, he's doing some really good stuff. Michael Pitre is going to be a graphic designer that does a lot of layouts and pages and stuff. I always pay attention when his name's on a product. Mr. and Mrs. Cuttington. Yeah, there's a lot of artists that I think do really good work. Oh, I'm still scrolling back up. Let's see here. Alone Among in the Stars is great for solo. Maybe not 9 years old, but still a good look, possibly. Good recommendation. Thank you for helping that. Zombie Kids is good for a 9-year-old. Is it a solo game, though? That's a good question. He's getting near the end. I am getting near the end. I want Zombie Kids bad, but I don't know if it's solo. Yeah. I've got one for a 9-year-old. Beasts of Balance. An iPad is required, though. Okay? Very well be, though. Haven't done much research. Stonbro, Alex Radcliffe answered every single question, even without the mic working. Okay, good to know that he answered them all. He's just doesn't have as many questions as me, or doesn't take as long to answer them, I suppose. That would probably be more accurate. Board games in a minute. I watched his full live stream video later after the fact, and I think he did answer every question. Well, good for him. I was hoping I'd have something on him. Oh, why are you doing this to me? Darn it, Alex, being good at community. Table Knots. Hi, Sarah. Board games in a minute. Hi, Max. Michael Pitre. It is a 2-player game, but they can play 2 of the characters. Okay. Bad Games, 1917. That's the one. Oh my gosh. Board games in a minute. I can't believe I'm still here. I should have left half an hour ago. Sarah, go. You have way more important stuff to do. I appreciate you though. Table Nuts. Hope you guys having a good night. Just showed up. Showed up. Laugh out loud. Didn't see it until now. How dare you? David, hey Max, gotta expect a lot from your channel. Just quacked on it. There you go. Board games in a minute. Oh, it's okay. You can go back and watch what you missed. Michael P. Train, night brother. Good night, man. Table Knots. When does your Candy crossover come out? Soon, one day, I hope. Warner Fernando, at Board Game Co. doesn't answer all the questions, mostly because he mutes the mic and makes. Yeah. Table Knots, I might have to. Creaky Gate, do you have a favorite solo game for adults? Yeah, I mean, I play Kingdom Death solo. I play Tainted Grail solo. As far as little puzzle goes, Marquise was really nice solo. I did a Patreon only video for that. Marvel Champions, Arkham Horror. I've heard great things about Aeon's Trespass. I'm hoping to play that. Not Aeon's Trespass. Yeah, I think that one. I'm hoping to play that solo. We'll see. Do you like Chris Nolan's movies? Inception, Interstellar, Tenet, Batman trilogy, etc. I like them pretty well. They weren't my favorite, but I liked them pretty well. I mean, The Dark Knight was beautiful. Interstellar was pretty captivating. Do you like Madara? I like Madara a lot, but I like Madara because of how ambitious they are with the storytelling. I think Wave 2 is going to be really, really impressive. They've tweaked the mechanics just a bit to make it a little bit more of a crunchy game. David Rimback. Oh, damn, he's getting close. I am. Stembro. We got to meet Alex's adorable daughter in a recent Board Game Co. video. Have you met his family yet? I haven't visited him yet. Alex has visited me, and I am due for a trip up to hang out with his family at some point. That video was also very well done. He has very impressive. He has a very impressive daughter. Um, she was so well spoken and confident in front of the camera. I would not have been that way when I was that age. Cranky Head Crack. Have you seen a movie called Swiss Army Man? I believe I have. Is that? I believe I have. Yeah, yeah, I believe I have. It's a very weird movie. Oh, David Rimback. That movie was sick. And I think that's it. I think I've now hit the end. I've caught up to you, which is going to be the challenge or competition for these live streams. Whenever I reach the end, have a good night. Safe travels. I'm sorry, I already betrayed my own thing. I saw a comment pop up and I continued reading it. Whenever I reach the end, I will call that victory on my behalf and sign off. We should do this as the channel continues to grow to the point where I'm like 46 hours just sitting here doing my best to continue answering questions because I have not yet. Or maybe the game can be as we grow, I have to go quicker and quicker through the comments so that we get to a point where I can like catch the end and then call it a night. People keep posting things. They're just saying thank you. Jinkster, I haven't seen you ask before, so I'm going to answer your question. Let's see here. What is the first thing you look at when selecting a board game you've not heard of? Is it style of gameplay? No, it's art and flavor text. That's the first thing that I look for, and oftentimes will be the thing that cuts off probably 20% of the things that we get requests from. Cool. It seems like people enjoyed this. People are leaving. We're down about 50% here. If you're still here, make sure like hit that thumbs up and do stuff. Thank you for being here. Like I've said multiple times throughout this stream, you all are the community that I desperately needed, and so I'm very lucky and honored to have you in it. Thank you for letting me be a part of your community. Whatever the case, though, whatever you do, remember to do the important thing. Get out and play some games. I'll see y'all next time. Thank you so much.